Access Sacramento presents Hometown Sports Game of the Week. This program is funded in part by a grant from the Sacramento Metropolitan Cable Television Commission.
Stage is set for an eagerly awaited, highly anticipated, unlikely high school football matchup. And Access Sacramento is on hand to send it your way as the Grant Union Pacers take on the Capital Christian Cougars this evening on the Hometown Sports Game of the Week. Good evening and welcome to Cougar Stadium tonight, where we've got quite a show for you. I'm Will James, along with the Imperator of Analysis, Jim Domino, and I don't believe we could have a more unlikely matchup than we do this evening with D5 Capital, D1 Grant, and the disparity between their two histories.
Well, certainly this is a great matchup and two great coaches who are both future Hall of Famers. Their record speaks for themselves in terms of Casey Taylor versus Mike Albergini. But they do the coaching and the players do the playing on the field, Will. And this is an intriguing matchup with a small school of 455 versus big D1 Grant. So we'll find out the outcome tonight.
And the crowd has turned out. There is plenty of buzz in the crowd, lots of energy here at Capital Christian. Now, these two teams have never met before. Often we show you the last meeting between the two. Not the case. This will be a first. However, we can show you what these two squads did a week ago in their last outings, and coming into tonight's action, both clubs have momentum.
Well, they certainly do. Capital Christian had a tremendous ball game, 36-33 overtime victory over Modesto Christian on a field goal, a 21-yard field goal by Kenyon Boyer to win out 36-33. Meanwhile, Grant and Burbank, rival Burbank, they fought many years for the crown. Grant outlasting them 34-8 as halfback Pryor had a huge night, 3 touchdowns and well over 100 yards. Convincing win over Burbank last week.
Now, it should be noted that Capital Christian victory in overtime marked the 200th career victory for that Capital Christian football program. 200. As always, there will be impact players casting a large shadow over the action tonight. And for Grant High, the prancing Pacers have to bring their A game on the road this evening.
Well, they certainly do. Let's start with the two big guys. Number 77 at left tackle, Darrell Abraham, all 300-plus pounds. Right next to him, 3-year starter, Oscar Umana. And then, of course, linebacker James Fotafili, all-city linebacker. And then, not to say the least, the big fella, Niti Liu, anchoring that inside at that nose position and some O-line.
Head coach Mike Albergini in his 27th year always puts an imposing club on the field. Now it's first-year head coach Casey Taylor, first year at Capital Christian, 16th overall after a brilliant 15 years at Del Oro. And his squad will counter with the clutch Cougars.
All right, in that clutch Cougars, let's start out with number 2, DeMarcus Ross. Big running back, has had to play a little quarterback, a linebacker. We saw him in his initial ball game 2 years ago as a young freshman leading the way over Rio Americana. William Buck, two-way starter, one of the top defensive linemen in the league. And, of course, Maurice Gaines, a recent transfer from up above, starting wide receiver and defensive back, outstanding athlete, and anchoring that interior line on both offense and defense, two-way starter, Evan Bennett.
Well, that's the way it's shaking out tonight at Capital Christian High School on Access Sacramento's Hometown Sports Game of the Week. Grant coming in to play Capital Christian. Don't wander off. When we come back, we'll join our colleague Rick Stewart for lots more on this interesting and compelling football matchup. Don't go away.
My journey skating for the gold taught me a lot, but my journey with breast cancer has been one of my greatest teachers.
Every woman's breast cancer is unique. Be Wiser educates and empowers women to take control of their breast cancer treatment plan and help navigate their own path beyond 5 years.
Talk to your doctor about information and tests to personalize a treatment plan that fits your needs. I did. Be informed, be wiser, support survivors like us.
Welcome back to Capital Christian High School and Access Sacramento's coverage on the Hometown Sports Game of the Week. Tonight, Grant facing Capital Christian as we kick off our 20th season of covering high school football in the Sacramento County area. Let's bounce down to Rick Stewart. He's got lots more on tonight's matchup. Rick?
We have two really quality situations here. First and foremost, great night for football here at Capital Christian at Cougar Field. And we also have two elite coaches. Now, guys will talk about that a little bit more, but here's a quick rundown. Mike Albergini for Grant, 27th year coaching, 27 years in the playoffs. That includes 18 league crowns, 8 section titles, 1 CIF state championship in 2008, the first NorCal section champion, state champion from Sac Section. And a first state title by a section team, as I said. That's Mike Albergini. You know he's going to have a quality situation. Now, for Capital Christian, quality coach here, Casey Taylor, moving over from Del Oro. First year at Capital Christian, undefeated, 2-0. Now, his career record's 151-50, and that's all with Del Oro. Now, he's got 7 league crowns, 6 section titles, 3 times a state finalist, 1 CIF state championship. Now, let's take a half step back. Career record for Mike Albergini, 270, 55, and 1. 10 victories a year for Grant. Now, the team history, there is none. This is the first meeting between these two schools. Promises to be great. Series history for coaches between these two coaches. Mike Albergini at Grant and Casey Taylor here. Casey Taylor at Del Oro. 4th meeting for these two gentlemen. It's 2-1 Grant. Grant won in 2006 and 2012. Casey Taylor came back with 2013 with a victory for Del Oro. We're looking for something really solid tonight. Great night for football here. Perfect stadium, great crowd. We got some excellent music at halftime, so you want to stick around for that. Guys, I'll send it back upstairs to you.
All right, thank you very much, Rick. The energy is abounding here at Cougar Stadium on the campus of Capital Christian High School. Grant has had a reasonably good turnout thus far, but still coming in.
Before we start game number 2, we would like to do something special, and a special award is what we're called for to do right now.
Let's take a look at some of the keys the Imperator
Capital Christian's own Casey Taylor was named the 2018 United States Under-17
As always, there are
by USA Football's general
several important keys in every ball game, and you have identified some of the, Jim.
Coach Taylor will
Yes, let's start out with a solid run game with both teams really running the football 75% plus times. And, of course, they're both without potential starting quarterbacks here tonight, waiting transfers from possibly both teams waiting for potential first-string quarterbacks to join them upon clearing CAF regulations and transfer rules. Winning the turnover battle is huge because when turnovers, they can turn a football game in any which way, whether it be fumbles, interceptions, etc. They've got to protect the football if you're going to run the ball. Next man up replacements. By that we means Grant missing their number one athlete. Number 1, Nate Thomas, plays both ways, receiver, leg injury, will not play tonight. 2-way starter. Cap Christian is out with one of the most hard-running halfbacks, fullbacks in the area, number 21, Kristen Simmons, who broke a leg last week via Modesto Christian. So there you go. The next man up has got to fill in. Now Ross is going to go to that spot occupied by Simmons, and of course Nate Thomas, hard to replace him because he plays multiple positions. So when you add those things up, winning the turnover, next man up, and solid run games, this clock could move very fast tonight, Will.
Well, there you see our co-captains from the respective teams out here meeting at midfield with our game officials. So let's show you who the A team is from the NCOA, the Northern California Officials Association, assigning our officiating crew tonight. And we have seen some of these veterans before, and we're looking forward to a very clean, smoothly called game. The referee tonight, Dennis Ward, veteran of many wars. The umpire, Kenneth Pacino. Head linesman tonight, Andrea Barber. Darren McNeil, the line judge, and John Parker will serve tonight as the back judge. And certainly, Jim, we're hoping for a clean game, and I do expect some early jitters, but who can say?
And I think, as you mentioned, I think we're in good hands. It looks like a crew that has a lot of experience behind them. I'm sure they will control the game. As you see, the captain's coming together with the head referee, deciding who won the coin flip and who's going where. Very interesting matchup between two well-coached teams who figure have in the past had playoff ambition and fulfilling.
Well, don't wander away. We're just moments away from tonight's opening kickoff. We're going to take a short break, and upon our return, you'll be brought back to Capital Christian High School and access Sacramento's hometown sports game of the week, Grant versus Capital Christian. Stand by.
No matter the final score. Great job, Pittman. Good work, Papa.
We are ready to get underway here, and it's a lovely Friday evening. Dusk just beginning to take hold. A nice breeze rippling through the stands. Very comfortable, and an excited crowd on hand tonight at Capital Christian, where the host Cougars, in a first ever meeting, will take on mighty Grant High School. With Jim Domino, I'm Will James, and this game has been anticipated for the better part of 3 weeks. Grant High wearing their visiting gold tops, trimmed in blue trousers. You see there by the graphic, 84 degrees, slight wind from the west, 44 on the humidity, and visibility about as clear as a bell. Ideal football conditions tonight, so welcome aboard for the game of the week. Settle in, and you better cinch your seatbelt a wee bit tighter. It's liable to be a bumpy night. Capital Christian will kick off from right to left. Deep receivers for Grant High, dangerous receivers, Williams and Kinsey, and also back there Julian Reed. And it'll be Kenyon Boyer, 14, to do the booting. He handles all the kicking chores. And last week he won an overtime thriller against Modesto Christian with a field goal, 36-33. So here we go.
Single safety Julian Reed for the Pacers. Picking it up.
Line drive to the near side. Goes to an up man. Nice hole up the middle to the near hash mark across the 35, make it to the 38 or so. And that's where the Pacers will take over on offense. And with the carry on the run back that time, Jose Hernandez, good field position for the Pacers. Let's examine the Grant High offense coming out onto the field in their gold and blue. At the quarterback position, substitute Wesley Jones. Satoa, Pryor, Kinsey, Stallworth, and Niu Paulo at the skill positions. And there's the interior line as we have our first play from scrimmage. Up the gut running by Deshaun Pryor. Short yardage. We'll give him a couple to the 40.
Out of the I formation, Deshaun Pryor coming off a big game versus Burbank last week, scoring 3 touchdowns, gaining over 100 yards. Running behind that big front, Omar Lott, 280, and Daryl Abraham, 300, and led by fullback Sotoa.
Low snap down to get it, though. And again, Pryor gets caught holding the bag on a mishandle off the snap, and he's dropped for about a 2-yard loss. It's going to bring up 3rd and 10 back to the original line of scrimmage. For the Cougars defense, they've got their hands full tonight. Semet, Bennett, and Buck, they're down interior 3 in their 34 alignment, and the 4 backers you see there led by Ross and Sullivan in the middle, and the secondary 4 deep, McCoy, one of the excellent ball hawkers and gains in the area. Low snap again, down to get it. Quick hitch, left side. A hook up there. And a first down, but a loose football, and the Cougars jump on it. Opportunistic. New Apollo coughed it up after a nice reception and first down running and a turnover.
Well, as mentioned in the pregame, who's going to win the turnover battle, Will? Number 1 of the night. Going over to the hometown Capital Christian in front of a big hometown crowd with the ball in great field position near midfield, Will.
The Cougars come out with a big break operating from their own 49. We're just underway. Nice to have you with us on the Game of the Week. It's a Grant fumble that's turned the ball over to Capital Christian. Big opportunity. Nothing doing on first down. Kinsey with the carry and greeted right in the middle of the line. Trey Jones at the quarterback position and Michael Ray Williams at the fullback. DeMarcus Ross, Rayberg, Gaines, and Foyer, the receivers.
Trey Jones back in the game. He was out of that play. And let's see if the ball goes to that DeMarcus Ross, the very tough running back here with 2nd and long, Will.
They need 12, but it's just 2nd down. They want to throw. Trey Jones scrambles away, lobs it up, broken up. Well defended in the secondary. And let's take a look at the Pacer defense. Number 21, Pickens with the breakup. They're down 3, Umana, Lou, and Niu Paulo, who just had that fumble. Then the backers, Ford, Lopa, Hernandez, and James Fotofili. Secondary, depending on Jackson, Reed, Pickens, and Stallworth. So it's going to bring up a 3rd down, Jim.
Yes, they had Jones running for his life there. He had to try to shake loose here, flush the pocket, nowhere to go. He's lucky it wasn't intercepted, Will.
A big 3rd down upcoming for the Cougars. They fake it, and Jones is going to be grabbed and shoved back 25 yards from the original line of scrimmage. That didn't work. And
wow,
that just equalized the field position off the turnover, and it'll be punt formation for Capital Christian, and Grant should come out with good shape here.
Well, they put the real heat on, and right now, Grant's coming off their blocks. I'll tell you, Needy Lou and Nia Apollo are coming off along with the linebackers with a great rush. Jones with nowhere to go.
So 4th and 17, Jones, a quick trip to the sideline, now returns deep to receive there. You see one of the many speed backs, Julian Reed, solo safety as a punt returner here, but whistles are going to halt action.
That'll be interesting here.
Delay of game, -5 on the Cougars. Well, we thought there might be some disarray, perhaps some jitters early on. A fumble by Grant, a couple of penalties now, and pretty much both teams have been neutralized by
Definitely a little jitters. They'll get settled down here.
Boyer punt to the far side of the field, bounding outside the 30 and out of bounds. We'll see where they mark it. That should probably be marked inside the 30, but I am not wearing a striped shirt.
Looks like the 29. I think you're accurate there, Will.
So the Grant offense back on the field, as you see the general there, Mike Albergini in his 27th year, trying to guide the Pacers to a 27th straight playoff appearance. The punt covers 28 yards.
Indication is a personal foul indicated against the Pacers.
Well, another flag, Jim.
Yep, another 5. I'm not.
Personal foul.
Personal foul.
Receiving team. 15-yard penalty, first down.
You know what? That's kind of delay action. They're resetting the chains, and that occurred during the punt. And the delay on that really is a mystery.
Well, Dennis Ward, our game referee, anchoring the crew from the NCOA. The penalty really backs up Grant. 1st and 10 from their 15-yard line. Single wide receiver far out to the right. Slot back and another wide receiver left. They try to go wide. Pryor's outside, and he's shoved out crossing the 30. I should say crossing the 20 there. Give him about 5 on the play. We'll see where he got a nice spot on that.
They certainly did. They gave him about 6.5, almost 7, Will.
Yep, to
And,
the 22.
Yeah. It gives us 2nd and short. Now, they can do anything on there. I think you'll see them stay on the ground. Once again, they both have very inexperienced quarterbacks.
Second and short, they sweep right, and nothing doing. 5 Cougars shut that down shy of the 25, and there's getting scrappy out there, and a penalty flies.
Late flag. He did pick up about 2, Will.
They did stop him shy of the first down, but we'll see about the penalty.
I saw a late Capital Christian late entry into that melee, and let's see what happens here. Yeah, I believe they're pointing out one of the defensive players coming flying in.
Dennis Ward, wearing the white cap, is tonight's game referee.
It's our first conference of the night, Will.
Yes, and, you know, for the sake of a smooth game, I hope it's the last. Here's our call.
Play. Personal foul.
Well, there you see, again, the Imperators saw the late barge into the pile, personal foul, late hit, and the walk-off. So, first down Pacers, but they'll operate in much better position from the Grant 39.
Much better. Big difference.
Out of the gun. 3rd low snap. He's down to get it and scrambles and fires on the run and just threw that away.
Well, that was a smart move by Wesley Jones. There was nowhere to go, and he would have taken a 10, 12-yard loss. Throw the incomplete pass.
We've seen the low snap at least on 3 occasions, maybe 4. I would think that's something that...
Well, I don't think they're used to running that gun offense. You just think by game 3, he ought to be able to handle that.
And put pressure on for the Cougars.
Second and 10 from the 39. A bobble, a loose football. And the Cougars had a shot at it, and they may have scored it away.
Well,
Boy.
I'm not making excuses, but I'm telling you, the handoffs are suspect. Really. You know, I'm not trying to put blame anywhere, but if you look carefully, look at this.
Well, I agree with all what you said there. It's going to bring up 3rd and 12 from the 37 after a 2-yard loss. Quick hitch right side. Nothing
That's a great
doing.
play. Number 2, Ross. Ross, the two-way starter, junior starter, 3-year starter, and it's only a junior.
Tackle in the end zone by number 2, Marcus Ross. I mean, in the backfield.
Let's take another look at this 6-yard loss.
4th down and about 19.
Oh, that was superior play by DeMarcus Ross. 4th and 18 from the 31.
Tyler Bohannon knows who he is, Will.
Gains back in single safety.
Well, both teams employed just a single safety punt returner. A late substitution. How many men on the field? I can't count that high, Jim. And a flag is thrown by our back judge as confusion continues to prevail here in the first quarter. Delay of game. Well, what's that old cliche? No, they are not looking like midseason form here in week 2, game 3.
Coach Albergini is aging a few years over on the sidelines, Will.
Football back to the 26. Pacers going backward. Here's the punt. Spiral, but short. Bounding at midfield and taking a little bit of a pacer roll at 10 yards. But good field position for the Cougars. They'll open shop at the Capital Christian 40.
No return. Penalty flag after the play along the sideline.
.34 yards on the punt, and another penalty to be sorted out. Is that 4 of them or 5 now?
I believe this is number 5.
Well, there's a good shot on the near sideline. Head coach Casey Taylor in his first year guiding the Cougars after 15 years at Del Oro, having a word with his quarterback Trey Jones, a wide receiver defensive back under normal conditions, but given the emergency at quarterback, Trey being pressed into service. And he did all right a week ago down in Modesto. Turn and give. Not much there. Deshaun Laley with the carry.
Off the right side. Stopped at
No gain virtually, 2nd and 10.
Making a stop.
The Cougars have been very run heavy,
Very.
without their number 1 quarterback, a proficient passer. They're waiting for clearance on Jake Cruz, but right now Jones doing a yeoman's job as a substitute here. And a fine basketball player as well. He's rushed hard and scrambles away. Forced out of bounds in a heavy collision along that Grant sideline. I think a civilian got decked hard there and may be in trouble.
Oh, yeah. Well, you can't, they should be back 3 yards or more from that sideline, and he got to protect himself. Took about a 2.5-yard loss, Will, and these quarterbacks thus far this evening are running for their lives. I mean, boy, I'll tell you what. I'm wondering if that conversion to quarterback was worthwhile. They have to do it for the team.
Absolutely. It's still team ball. Both teams suffering at that position. Draw play. Big room up the gut. Nice carried out to midfield. And that looks like a first down with that final lunging effort. Well, I'll tell you, I'm impressed. I'm impressed with Laley.
That's the first big run of the night. Laley with a great run right up the middle.
They needed 13, and he ran for 14. So they'll operate from the Grant 49-yard line on the move, overcoming a loss on first down. Single wideouts left and right. Turn and give. Line of scrimmage at best. Shutting that down beautifully and earning his keep as one of the premier D linemen, Oscar Umana, 57.
Well, right now, I know that Trey Jones is not used to that quarterback position, but he's looking right back at the handoff on that read option. So that Grant is not getting faked out at all. They're just watching him hand off.
Well, it might be that time to go upstairs with a rare pass. Not yet. They're going to go wide, and there's not much room to get outside. Noble effort, however. Very impressed with DeMarcus Ross. A flag flies, and that's number 6.
It looks to me like we have an illegal low block going against Cap Christian.
Good look at that Grant defensive unit right there.
Boy, they're quick.
You saw their lateral containment, very speedy.
Very, very quick. Andre Lopa, Hernandez, Fotofili, probably one of the fastest guys on the field playing an outside backer. He forces you to run. He will never give up the running lane, forces you to run east-west on him.
No, he's dynamite, returning. He's a 3-year starter, and certainly all
illegal
leaguer.
formation, offense, penalties decline, 3rd down.
Well, Dennis Ward with the call. They decline, and that runs it to 3rd and 10. Double wide to the right this time. Gaines to the right, along with Foyer.
By the way, Will, as we have a moment, unofficially that was the 7th penalty thus far in a game that is about 7.5 minutes old.
Well, we see 4 wideouts, 2 left, 2 right. And another stoppage, a momentary stoppage by the officials to clarify something unknown to me. 4:05, clock rolling. Late first, no score. Jones rushed hard, a screen, no one's looking, incomplete. Intended receiver, fullback Michael Ray Williams. That play needed some more polish. 4th and 10.
Well, obviously, quarterbacks are having some problems with rhythm and tempo on both offensives here and struggling. He had to get rid of the ball in a hurry, and the screen was set up. But
well, Jones, a substitute quarterback, as we mentioned, is 0 for 2 through the air tonight. He's uncomfortable doing that, so here comes the punt. Good rush, nice punt. Driving the returner back, and it's going to take a lateral bounce, downed inside the 30. Nice downfield coverage by Ishmael Rayberg.
31-yard punt, no return. When play resumes, it'll be 1st and 10 for Grant.
So Boyer punts for 31, and it shoves Grant back with average field position to the Pacer 20. 3:46 remaining here late in the first. The fans waiting for something to happen, but neither team can generate any offense at this point in time. It's been defensive dominated. So the Pacers break their huddle in somewhat of a disarray. Wide receivers change sides. Overloaded to the near side. Now motion. Turn and give. Sweep left, and that is wiped out. Not able to get outside. Tremendous penetration. Savante Jordan, the receiver, had nowhere to go. Loss of 5.
A loss of 4 yards. 2nd down and 14 for
Another look, and you can see that right side defensive containment.
well, it appears that the nose guard, Evan Bennett, an all-league player who was injured in the pregame warm-up, is being replaced by number 78, Gonbori.
Well, injuries have decimated both squads. Rolling to throw. All day. High lob up for grabs. Who wants it? Bobbled around. Incomplete. Good secondary coverage, but a possible injury out there. to Capital Christian's Chris McCoy, arguably their top defensive back.
Well, that ball had pick all over it, Will. If he just backpedals a little more, yeah, he got hit. Yeah.
Covering on the play was number 11, Chris McCoy.
Looks like a thumb injury, but here's penalty number what?
Grant.
Okay, another look.
Watch Wesley flush the pocket.
High, but it hangs. McCoy had a shot at it, and somewhere in that scuffle he jammed a thumb, it looked like. So the penalty moves Grant back to its 16. 2nd and 14 now.
Well, Grant in a hole once again as they march off the penalty.
Yep.
Oh, on the
Holding penalty.
half the distance to go.
The goal is the penalty. The ball is sitting at about the 7-yard line.
Well, we're going 8 penalties in the last
Still
9 minutes. That's a
second down.
pretty good ratio.
I believe that's close to a world record. So here we go. From the 7, 2nd, 23, bobbled again, picked up, and I don't think so. This Capital Christian defensive line and linebacking core has bottled up every hole, every escape route.
Well, I'll tell you, number 78 is doing a pretty good job replacing Bennett. They're all league players who 78 is doing a job.
Making the stop for the Cougars.
3rd and 24 now from the 6 after that rushing attempt by Eugene Williams. You
got to be real careful. You really do right here. They could give up a safety or a possible touchdown right now in their own backyard, Will.
Backfield lined up pretty much at the goal line. Wide receivers left and right. A draw. There's some room to the near side. And another penalty flies, and Williams is bumped out, crossing the 15-yard line.
Well, he was nowhere near a first down, and if it's against Grant, I think they're going to turn it down. Capital say, forget it, we refuse, and we'll take the punt.
There's Casey Taylor up along the sideline there between the 30 and 35 with hand signals. So they decline.
The holding penalty is declined. We're down to 4th down and about 15. Back in single safety for the Cougars. Maurice Gaines.
Okay, so 4th and 14 from the 16. Punt formation shown. 1 step. Line drive. Bounding at the 45. Nice pacer roll to the Capital 40 where it's downed. Nice punt.
55-yard punt, no return. A penalty flag at the
Another
45-yard line.
penalty. Well, we'll sort that out. It's a beautiful evening here at Capital Christian off Highway 50 near Bradshaw. Nice breeze.
It's a great setting here, Will. I like it. It's surrounded with nice trees, beautiful campus.
Okay, Dennis.
On the return, a block in the back indicated against the Cougars. Ball's back to the 30-yard line.
Are you keeping tally with these penalties, Jim?
10 in 10 minutes now.
We've reached double figures, right?
Yeah, we're in the double digits.
Well, Casey Taylor, in his first year guiding the Cougars, heavy expectations, and he starts out 2-0 despite some key injuries to his squad. Running on first down, a little juke step and falling forward for a yard or so.
That was 2nd down and 9. Covering on the play for Grant number 2, Viliami Niupalau.
Minute and a half, clock rolling, late first. At halftime, we're going to see something special in terms of entertainment. The Grant Pacers have brought their nationally renowned drum line and part of their band, and of course, Capital Christian's often decorated band also in attendance. Chopped down for a loss in the backfield at the 25.
Stopped in the backfield at the 25-yard line.
Boy, Hernandez got through. I'll tell you, he was into the backfield faster than the play developed. That's a great play in there by 32, Jesse Hernandez with a super play. He diagnosed that so quickly.
3rd and 15 from the 25. 40 seconds to go in the quarter. Double wide to the right. Jones rolls that way, chased hard, in trouble, and throws it away in the grasp, and a penalty marker flies.
Penalty flags.
That's a throwaway without a question, intentional grounding.
There was even a flag down here on the 40-yard line right at the hash mark.
Penalty flag back at about the 40. Also along the sideline about the
Must say that the
20-yard line.
NCOA and their officiating crews tonight certainly earning their keep. Penalty number 11.
Well, what I see both quarterbacks doing on their pass play, Will, they're flushing the pocket because of pressure, and they're running east and west, and pursuit is catching up with them. And quite frankly, you run out of field, what we call running out of field to make a throw in bounds.
Dennis Ward with the call. A face mask on the rush of Jones. It's against the Pacers.
Wow. No grounding.
No grounding. Face mask against Grant.
Well, there was a flag thrown way back there, and it appeared to be grounding.
So there's the walk-off in slow motion with 26 seconds remaining here in the quarter, and umpire going to the sideline for Casey Taylor explanation. They park the football at the Capital Christian 40.
Penalty walked off. Face mask penalty against the personal.
Jones back onto the field. 3 substitutes in.
At the 40-yard line, or it will be 1st and 10, Cougars.
1st and 10 as they got off the hook from a 3rd and 15.
Ow.
I don't understand it, but
I think they ought to snap the ball directly to Ross and let him run up the middle.
they may have to resort to that. Fresh set of downs, though. A blast. Jones is loose. Here's a foot race. Chased by 3 Pacers to the 20 and shoved out inside the 20. A quick burst, Trey Jones. That was a 40-yard burst. Actually, 37. Here's another look at it. Trey Jones.
Watch Trey Jones. Inside, outside. He's off to the races now. For a big fella, he's got decent speed, and 13 catches him and knocks him out of bounds for Grant.
Well, the face mask penalty is looking big right now. It set up that run. First down from the 23. Left side run for a couple or so. And the carry by Laley.
That's a quarter. Give credit to Kamari Stallworth for catching him. Will knocking him out of bounds.
The first quarter has concluded in a scoreless tie here at Capital Christian High School as the Cougars battle the Grant Pacers. Here on Access Sacramento's Hometown Sports Game of the Week. Do not wander off. We're going to keep it right here and go down to Rick Stewart. What you got, buddy?
Alrighty, I'm here with Ab Alvarez, principal here at Capital Christian. Perfect night for this.
Yeah, it's not 107 degrees, is it? No, it really is a beautiful night.
You couldn't ask for something better. And a big game like this. I mean, how huge is this?
It's really big. It's neat to see 2 coaches that are great friends bring their teams together. They know they're going to compete, and you can't ask for just a better environment with the 2 bands. It's high school sports for sure.
It is, and this is Friday Night Lights. This is the epitome of that, the bands especially. I mean, we love coming here because there's usually always a band, but now we've got 2, and we got something special at halftime. We'll talk about that later. But this is just tremendous on campus, what you're doing.
Yeah, you know, our student body really responds really well. The guys have been excited for this game all year, since last year. And again, Coach Taylor's doing a wonderful job, and we're just excited for this year.
All right, we're going to try and bring you back at halftime real quick after we talk with the coaches. We'll send it back upstairs to Will and Jim.
Thank you, Mr. Stewart. Capital Christian, as they switch sides in total offense, Grant's run 11 plays for 8 yards, while Capital has gained 42 in 13 tries. What a stark difference. Long count by Jones, turn and give. Nothing at all. Deshaun Laley tried to go right, and the blocking was disrupted and lots of leakage.
This is a big yard down for Capital Christian because they do have an outstanding field goal kicker.
3rd and 12 from the 25. This is a prime opportunity for Capital Christian, having driven inside the red zone before being shoved back. He keeps it, dodges one man, but there's too much defense. He squirts away, chased down, and finally dropped for a loss at the 33. Game effort, too much D. Well, that looks like the type of play that takes you out of field goal range.
Well, again, he'd be better off going down and taking maybe a 1-yard gain there instead of reversing his field. Now, that's what happens when you get an athlete, Trey Jones, an athlete.
Mike Albergini right there in the gray, shouting instructions from that Pacers sideline. A little bit of a rough start this year for Grant, dropping their opener up in Rockland, but bouncing back with a win over Burbank. However, stymied tonight against Capital, and a timeout taken by the host Cougars.
Oh, he's going to punt the ball. I think they're out of Bohannon's range.
Let's take a look at the weekly rankings. They're called Domino's Dozen. And, of course, the rankings of vital importance to fans and players alike. But it seems like the same team always wins the top spot, Jim.
Well, it certainly is, and we were out there last week at Folsom when Jesuit visited Folsom with a time change due to the hot weather, and Folsom certainly prevailed big time over Jesuit. Oak Ridge, number 2, very strong ball club. Intercom under Terry Stark, all these years doing great. Rockland fresh off 2 great wins. Granite Bay continues to win. Sacramento in number 6, and we're going to see them versus Folsom next week. Del Oro, number 7, despite losing their coach. Capital Christian here tonight, number 8. And number 9, Sheldon, Franklin, Antelope, and number 12, Grant. And we'll go on to the red zone. Whitney, Del Campo, River Valley, Yuba City, on down to Elk Grove, number 20.
Domino's Dozen, in your face every week. So here we are, 4th and 21, punt formation, a chippy to the right side, and it's well done. Let's see if they're able to down it, and they do at the 1. That is expert efficiency.
Well, I think that was a
penalty number 624, it looks like. 33 yards on a well-placed punt. And again, Dennis Ward and the officiating crew will sort this out for us. Here's the call.
Hello, Dennis.
So Grant in a precarious position here, backed up to their 1-yard line. In rushing offense, Capital Christian led by Jones, 4 carries for 20, while Laley has added 13 yards on 5 tries. Tough D tonight. Whistles blow this play dead.
We had a timeout by Grant prior to the snap.
Well, that's reassuring. I was hoping it wasn't because of a penalty. It comes early here in the second at 10-16. No score. We'll be right back.
What if you could invest in the future of kids, like a stock? Not the kind of stock that's about making money, but a stock for social change. A whole new kind of investment called Better Futures. When you invest, it helps kids go to college. Believe in us, invest in us, watch us grow.
My name is Sydney, and I'm your dividend.
The Pacers lined up in their end zone, working from their own 1-yard line here early in the second quarter. No score. Turn and give. Up the gut, stopped and shoved back. Short yardage to the 2 or so. Very little.
Right now, Grant with very little operating room, and both teams tonight, the defense definitely has an advantage because they're putting 8 in the really 8 in the pocket there, and just challenging the other team to throw the football.
Second and 9. Out to the 5. It's going to bring up a third down, a very key third down for Mike Albergini's Pacers.
Yeah, very definitely. Now, one thing they've got to be careful about here, again, Jones, inexperienced Jones Wesley, that is, of Grant, has got to be careful. As Grant brings in about 4 substitutions coming up.
Here's the look at the previous play. Again, tough interior D by the Cougars. Both defenses have been terrific tonight. Big 3rd and 6, 4 wide receivers, 3 to the right. Jones looks that way, deep in the end zone, chased, sets up and fires. He's got a man wide open, uncovered. A cutback and dropped, crossing the 45 to about the 48-yard line. A key play there. He had too much time to throw, and winding up all alone, Tyler Bohannon.
Wow, approximately a 40-yard game, wasn't it? 35-40.
Let's take another look. 46 yards on the play.
Watch him scamper. Number 18, that is. 18, Piedra.
A huge third down pickup. Mike Albergini moving the chess pieces around, trying to find something that'll click from the quarterback position. Another flag flies.
Well, we got 2 people in a little altercation. Let's see what they're going to do about it.
This crowd becoming restless on both sides, agitated by lack of offense for each respective team, and certainly frustrated by more than a dozen penalties.
Are you seeing a number 18 for Grant? And I have 19 for Piedra.
Dead ball, personal foul, on the goal, the player's ejected.
Wow. Let's have another look at that sequence. A dead ball foul resulting in an ejection. Pryor had the carry. Here we go. Let's look here. There it is there. Oscar Umana, 57, tied up with Capital Christian's Ishmael Rayberg. And the result was an ejection.
Well, that's losing a 2-way starter real fast.
Oscar Umana sent to the sidelines for the rest of the evening.
3-year starter, 2-way, 3-year starter.
It brings up 2nd and 26 from the 33.
And look at the number of our quarterback. We have 19 in our program for Piedra.
The officials really being challenged this evening to maintain control here in a game that has been disrupted repeatedly by penalties, and now this scuffle resulting in the ejection. Both clubs are leaving the field.
The referees have asked the head coaches to consult with their team to get them back down to earth, okay? So both coaches will have a talk.
You see Mike Albergini is upset with our game referee, Dennis Ward. His 27th year coaching the Pacers, aiming for his 27th playoff appearance, and he is hot under the collar right now. Yes, let's take another look, another replay of the previous play where we had the short run up the middle, and then after the ball was dead, we had the altercation. So there's the give to Pryor, and then there's Umana dragging him down and shoving him into the turf, basically, and he didn't care for that. Back to live action, right side. Nice carry by the Pacers, but shy of a first down. They make the 40, and they need 3 more.
Well, once again, both teams putting 8 defensive players in the box, Will, defying the other team to throw the football. Okay?
Outright defiance. A huge second and 3 from the 40. Grant trying to overcome penalties and an ejection, and it looks like they've got power running for a first down to the 45.
I like the second effort there by that Grant back. It appeared to be Pryor. Let's take a look.
Actually, the give was to Eugene Williams, number 5.
6. As a result, is a first down for Grant.
Clock rolling with 7:07 here, midway second, no score. Who wants it more? A blast to midfield. Nice power, Pryor with the carry, and good opening from the interior line.
Well, now they're going over the right side. They've been trying to run left over the Omana and Abraham, and now they're going right over Omana's replacement and Topu, number 72. Big fella, Topu. All 370 pounds of them.
Turn and give, same play, same station.
They're just coming at him with power football right at him, run inside the tackles.
About a 4-yard carry. It makes the Capital Christian 46.
A gain of about 4.
3rd and 1. And another look here. You see that Grant blocking, wedging, and giving that opening, but grudgingly.
Well, they certainly have enough beef up front. And if they run behind Abraham and Lott,
We're not certain what the injury is there, but we can tell you that Pryor's had 10 carries for 24. You can see that the yards per carry indicates a grudging defense by the Cougars.
Well, unofficially, I'd say both clubs are well on the 100 yards of running offense.
Haven't yet identified the fallen Cougar, now being attended to out at the 45-yard line. Let's take a look and see if we can judge by this replay the nature of the injury. Someone got rolled up. Well, that's danger zone in the trenches there.
Well, I tell you something. There's a lot of big fellas up front: Abraham, Tate, Umana, Tupou, Nia Palu, and along with some sizable folks over on the other side with Shane Simmet, 6'6", 250 or 260, Will Buck, Bennett, Perkins, and some company are not small, but that Grant line is really something. They're bigger than many college lines.
Stay with us. We'll be right back for more of Access Sacramento's Hometown Sports Game of the Week.
What if you could invest in the future? The future of kids, like a stock. Not the kind of stock that's about making money, but a stock for social change. A whole new kind of investment called Better Futures. When you invest, it helps kids go to college. Believe in us, invest in us, watch us grow.
My name is Sydney, and I'm your dividend.
Okay, we're back to action, and we still have a sad situation of an injured player being attended to out here for Capital Christian High School. And so we've got a fallen Cougar being assisted off, and they have already been hit hard by injuries. Very unfortunate. Casey Taylor's ball club really being ravaged by injuries here, and we're just in week 2, third game. Most unfortunate. Earlier in the evening, Christian Simmons, their top running back, came out on crutches after suffering a broken leg last week down in Modesto, but DJ Malott, the injured Cougar, a junior quarterback by roster position. So here we go, Grant on the attack from the 46. Big hole right side, here's a burst. Chased and dropped. Boy, nice salvage to prevent a TD there. Pryor had a nice opening.
Another big run.
Down close to the 23-yard line, where it'll be 1st and 10 for the Pacers.
One of the better plays from scrimmage for Grant tonight in a very frustrating evening for the offenses. Both squads being stymied. A 23-yard burst, longest from scrimmage for Grant tonight. From the 23. Until they stop it, let's go ahead and run it again.
That looks like the old Grant ISO play. Lead fullback coming right at you. Lead up the hole, and they found an opening, and look, they're good. They're hardly huddling now. They're definitely in rhythm.
Gain of 12 to the 11-yard line, and whistles are going to halt play.
Well, Casey calls a timeout. He's got to stop that Grant tempo.
There's Mike Albergini feeling a bit relieved, but certainly not comfortable with a scoreless tie here against Capital Christian.
But if you notice in this drive, they're coming right at him, right over the middle, between the tackles, coming straight ahead. They're not pulling people, doesn't look like it, and they're coming right at him, right at the bubble.
The closest distance between 2 points is a straight line, and they've been wearing it out here.
And they found that they can't run all this east-west stuff. They're going to run at the bubble, what we call north-south, vertical. And with great success, they're running behind. Right now, Tupu and Oscar Omana's replacement at right guard.
From the 11-yard line, after the timeout. Grant ready to rock. Penalty marker dropped on a false start.
Procedure penalty indicated against Grant High.
That'll cost the Pacers 5 here. We're down to 5:49, flip side of quarter number 2. Still a scoreless tie. The fans in Cougar Stadium tonight really awaiting some kind of a score. What do you see, Jim?
Illegal procedure, Grant penalized 5.
So they move the Pacers back to the 16-yard line. It remains first down, 1st and 15. Oh my goodness. Have we reached 20 yet?
There's another little skirmish going inside, and apparently that talk to the players didn't do much. A bit of animosity in the interior line going on, and another penalty.
Oh, there he is. Dennis Ward.
Prior to the snap infraction on the offense, 5-yard penalty, remains first down.
My. Now it's 1st and 20 from the 21. Pacers again going backward.
Well, we've got our 13th penalty, but we've had 3 refused. So we could have been at 16.
That's, I think, what I've got in my mind. 16 flags and 13 actual penalties. Still a far cry from the pace that we were on about 10 years ago when we called Sacramento and Valley. I think when we went back to the studio and watched the entire game, we finished with a total of 39 penalties in that game.
I don't want to even reach that record, Will.
I grew a full beard watching that replay. Here we go. He wants to throw, rushed, flushed. He gets outside.
Well, he's back to the original line of scrimmage, Will. And number 18 is really scampering.
He is, and they didn't seal off the outside there. The defender went inside, and he was able to turn the corner as a result.
Well, 18 is not listed in our program.
So the Pacers on the move. Right side running, Pryor inside the 5, struggling, touchdown Pacers. Pryor from 11 yards out. Boy, that was a sheer determination and hardcore running there. 3 players had a grasp on him, and he was able to power in for the score.
Line up to kick, number 17, Sox Lee.
Well, perhaps after this PAT, we can see that run again in the end zone. That was a tremendous run.
Oh, my word. Sox Lee on for the PAT. I don't believe I've ever seen a kick like that, but we go to break here after the Pacers score.
5, struggling, touchdown.
After 15 years of smoking, Eva Marie quit. There's a new lung cancer screening that could save her life. You stopped smoking, now start screening. Learn more at savedbythescan.org.
Grant High ready to kick off following their hard-earned touchdown, I believe on a 99-yard drive that was kept alive on a couple of different occasions, and finally Pryor took care of business. But another stoppage and a penalty marker.
Another flag penalty, 17, unofficially.
Well, I must say that as you see Casey Taylor up along that Cougar sideline, that whatever the speculation was going into tonight's game, 99 yards in 12 plays, Pryor cashing it with an 11-yard run as the Pacers get on top after looking like they were wondering if they would ever get in the end zone.
Very impressive drive, and once again, they really came right at him, running inside tackle. With that Pacer defense, defensive speed here, again, Capital Christian has got to get up the field and run vertical here because there's a lot of speed on defense with that Pacer outfit.
Number 43.
So the Pacers on top 6, Capital Christian with poor field position from their 16-yard line after the run back by Gaines. Time enough to mount a drive with 5:23 to go in the half. Turn and give. A punishing tackle, but a carry to the 19-yard line, gain of 3, 2nd and 7.
About 3, 2nd and 7 for the Cougars. Making the stop on the defense, number 55, Omar Norman Lott.
Beautiful evening, but I imagine it's still warm down on the field, and I'm looking to see if fatigue appears to be setting in for these ball clubs.
Well, Omar Lott, normally an offensive player, has replaced Umana on defense, who was ejected. So Omar now, Lott has to play 2 ways for the Pacers, doing a great job on defense where he normally doesn't play.
Tip of the cap to Mr. Lott. Meantime, first down from the 11, inside running, chopped and shut down. Laley with the carry.
14.
Well handled by the Pacers.
2nd down and 12.
Look for the Pacers. If they don't make a first down on this 3rd down, look for the Pacers to use the clock to get the football back in great field position here. This is an important down for both ball clubs.
Clock still rolling at the 4:20 mark. Right now, Capital Christian in a dangerous position, looking uphill at a 2nd and 12 from their 14, trailing 6-0. He wants to throw, underthrown, well covered and picked off. Excellent coverage in the secondary, and now they're saying they're disputing the interception, and it is going to hold up. Evidently, there was some question at first, and we'll take another look to see why the question.
Well, Casey Taylor is stating his case, but I believe before the ball changed possession, it certainly was down. Play over.
Gaines was the intended receiver on the play. Pickens had the theft, a turnover. Now Pacers operating from the 41. Pryor up the middle, big gain, hard to drop, still charging, driving inside the 30.
Pryor, the ball carrier, carries from the 46-yard line.
This is a rugged battle to be sure. Hard knocks all over the field, and another Pacer bent over, requiring assistance and a stoppage of play.
I think Niapalu's going to be okay. He was like a pulling guard there. He's playing tight end tonight. I think he got rolled under and looks like possible calf. I don't think it's a serious thing. I think he'll be fine. He led up the whole blocking for Pryor.
There you see the left ankle being attended to by the training staff, and Casey Taylor looking on, speaking with our umpire. On the evening prior, what a workhorse, 14 carries for 84.
Well, he has
and
been.
4 consecutive first down carries.
Well, what I like is his yards after contact, Will. He showed me tonight that his yards after.
Casey Taylor really giving an earful there, and he's not being cheated at all. He's getting it all out, and he's in absolute disagreement there with our game umpire, Ken Pacino.
Play resumes 1st and 10, Brent.
1st and 10 Pacers on the move. Pryor, big hole up the middle. Touchdown Pacers
Off the left side,
from 27.
Deshaun Pryor.
Well, if there's any doubts, as Brant has a running back this year, I think Mr. Pryor is answering the call tonight. When asked earlier, year in, year out, they have one or two outstanding running backs, and they're noted for that. And everyone said this year, where's the Grant back? Well, I think Pryor is starting to show that he is a pretty good back.
He is a pretty good back, maybe even a terrific back. And certainly a workhorse tonight on his 15th carry. Second score.
Charge to the Pacers and Grant.
I just can't help but notice lots of disruption in tonight's game, the rhythm of it, the penalties certainly a big factor. And of course, we've had 3 or 4 light skirmishes break out too that have unsettled things. 41 yards in 2 plays, covering 30 seconds. Pryor dashing the final 27 for the Pacers' second score as they lead at 12-0.
After having the last field goal kind of get blocked up front or semi-blocked, they're going for 2.
Triple wide receivers to the right out of the pistol. Look left, look right, scramble away. Unsuccessful on the cutback and the slip. And we are going to step aside as Grant is unable to convert on 2, but the Pacers lead at 12-0. Stay with us.
Touchdown Pacers.
I'll never forget the day our landlord called and said, read your lease. No pets allowed. My owner tells him my dog ate the lease, but that didn't work. And now I'm stuck in a shelter. But this pit bull is ready for a new crib. I'm loving, loyal, and play well with others. So don't be intimidated by all my muscles, because the biggest one I have is my heart. That's right, I said it.
Okay, thank you very much. Appreciate it. There's the kickoff and a spirited run back on a reversal. Maurice Gaines making something out of nothing. .3:17 left. Again, time for the Cougars to mount a drive and get on the board before the intermission.
22-yard line, 1st and 10, Cougars.
Again, with 3:17 on the clock, I would say plenty of time, but we have to remember right now, Capital Christian has not shown much of a passing threat tonight. And so let's see what Trey Jones can do here. It seems to me you got to put the ball in the hands of DeMarcus Ross, one of the top runners in the Sacramento area.
Foyer out to the near side, wide, but they run it up the middle, and it's stuffed and buried at the 20. Loss of a couple.
Right now, the defensive front, Nitty Lou and Neapalu, who's out. Actually, Nitty Lou is the only starting interior lineman.
Here's another look at Grant's outstanding defensive line, just shutting that down.
Omar Lott, again, playing a big role here, having to go to defense to replace Umana.
Now, what will that do with Umana's eligibility next week?
He sits out one game.
Costly loss. Second and close to 12. Heavy pressure on Jones. Chase throws on the run, and he's got a man for a completion crossing the 35-yard line. First down, Cougars on the hook up to Maurice Gaines.
Well, again, one of the few completions tonight.
Another look.
He's having to run for his life. He gets the ball off here.
A 15-yard hookup and a first down for Capital Christian, working now from the Cougar 36. 1 out of 4 upstairs tonight for Trey Jones. That was a big one. 2:26 to go. He's going to keep it. Jitterbugs to the line of scrimmage, shakes loose and falls forward for a couple to the 39.
Well, their clock, he's got to make better use of clock management if they want to put something on the boards here prior to the half. Ross kind of gimping a little bit. Excuse me, Jones. Jones gimping a little bit as he goes back to the huddle.
Well, he's taking a pounding tonight.
Big time.
You figure every time he gets tackled, it's by 3 guys hitting him. 5 for 23 on the ground and absorbing lots of punishment. 2nd and 7. Heavy rush, throws deep, upper grabs. Broken up. Gaines did a nice job of jarring that away from the defender who had that well covered and in position for an interception. Incomplete, however. Clock stopping at 1:40.
Once again, what's the pressure on Jones? Pressure, pressure, pressure. Here they come.
Broken up by number 13. It looks like Kamari Stallworth.
Double covered, well covered. Julian Reed with the breakup.
Well, once again under pressure, he's throwing into coverage.
The pass breakup.
Ross back in the ball game. I haven't seen a screen to Ross. He's dangerous.
3rd and 7 from the Cougar 39. They need to make their own 46 here with 1:40 to go in the half. Heavy pressure, it's a screen near side. There it is. Ross with the reception, and they're in each other's faces, and there's too much lip service going on out there, but it's a first down for the Cougars, as the Imperator had requested.
It will be 1st and 10, Cougars.
Minute and a half to go, and we'll take another look at the screen. You see how much pressure.
There it is. Screen off to Ross. Near sideline. Not a lot of running room over there. He's running on the field.
1st and 10. Motion shown in the backfield. Jones to throw, has all kinds of time on this one. Over the middle to a covered man, underthrown and grabbed, Maurice Gaines. And a penalty marker comes out on a late hit in the Grant secondary. Maurice Gaines came back for that underthrown pass and timed it beautifully. He had his eyes on that ball the entire time. Here's another look.
Watch Jones heave one downfield. Gaines uses his body well here. Watch him. Good body control.
And the late hit right behind. Boom, into the head. And Lordy Jackson got snookered on that coverage there with Gaines coming back. 30 yards on the hookup. A nice late drive underway here by the Cougars. 1:19 left as they've now reached the Grant.
Personal foul, targeting, defense, half the distance to the goal.
I think that's 20 now.
Called on the Grand Pacers. The ball is moved to the 12-yard line.
So the topic of conversation most prominent for the last couple, 3 years, shots to the head, risk of concussion, etc. Sorry to see that one. from the 12. First and 10, Cougars down 12. And Jones hit and dropped. Boy,
Once
what
again,
a Jesse Hernandez.
That's a second solo for him tonight, Will.
Timeout taken by Capital, stopping it with a minute left.
I believe that's their last timeout.
Second and 10. Certainly the best drive of the evening by Capital Christian.
Well, they're mixing it up a bit, and Jones is gaining a little confidence despite having to flush the pocket time after time. But, you know, I can see he's a good athlete. You said he's a basketball player. Has very little experience as a quarterback. So, you know, again, everybody's waiting in the wings for Cruz's eligibility. But meanwhile, Casey's got to find somebody to play that quarterback spot, and Jones stepped right in there. So you got to give him credit, having not played there before.
Absolutely.
He, to me, looks like an athlete who could play other positions too.
As he's demonstrating now. Second and 18 from the 20 after the Hernandez tackle, and it looks like Capital's gonna. Oh, a little stat here from our executive statistician.
Play resumes.
Total offense. Grant 174. Jones to throw, corner, underthrown, broken up.
Incomplete pass.
In the end zone.
For Khalil Fourier.
Well, the only thing I can say is you got to do what you got to do, but they're forcing Jones to throw under desperation.
Well, it's easy to second guess. I think, you know, he'd have better chance on shorter pass plays.
I go with that, Will. And you know what? You've got plenty of time underneath with those so-called nickel and dime type plays, 5, 7, 8s. I go along with that.
Third and 18 from the Pacer 20. 54 seconds left in the half. Jones wants to throw again. Now tucks it and runs it to the outside. And chased out of bounds to stop the clock, but
the right side to about the 23-yard line.
Not much of a.
No, it appears they're out of field goal range unless he'd have to kick approximately a 38-yarder. And I don't know if that is within the range of Bohan.
For the Cougars.
Jones has been scrambling all night, and this one's no exception. So Grant calls a timeout here with 47 seconds left here in the half. Both teams going to talk it over, and this has been what do you call a famine in terms of scoring, but lots of tough defense and spirited play to the extent that we've had an ejection and 4 other scuffles breaking out, and a personal foul and a shot to the head.
Well, what I see here is in the second quarter, the Grant offensive line, particularly the right side, has really opened up the holes for Pryor. And on top of it, he's hitting the hole quickly, and then his yards after contact are phenomenal. I'm impressed with how tough of a back he is.
Well, penalties. Grant's been assessed 9 for 84, Capital 4 for 35, and you said they picked up 4 other ones.
Yes, the ones that weren't even taken, yeah.
So here we go with 47 seconds. They are going to apparently try the field goal. Lawyer on for the PAT, Chris McCoy to hold. He'll spot it at the 29, little 39-yarder, got distance. Just wide. Tough luck, nice effort. But they come away empty on the drive. And Grant remains on top, 12-0. Well, I'm quite sure these 2 locker rooms at the intermission are going to have some very spirited conversations.
Comes back out, placed at the 20-yard line where Grant will take over.
Well, Grant had those long drives, and what I'm seeing is the defensive front of Capital is appearing a little tired right now. And it's hot down there on the field. It's decent up here in the booth, Will, but you know, down on the turf it's hot, and quite frankly, Let's see what happens here with this little time, or Grant's just going to sit on it and go in here with a 12-0 lead and not worry about getting in the end zone here.
Well, I think the fatigue started showing itself early in the second quarter. So here we go, 1st and 10 from the Grant 20. Right side running from the quarterback position, a stop and go move, and nice run out to about the 35-yard line.
Well, we certainly have had a difference in play from the first quarter to second quarter with our new quarterback.
Unquestionably. And that has been the leading dilemma for each respective offense, the quarterback position unsettled. And both head coaches awaiting decisions from the section office about clearance for eligibility by transfer quarterbacks, but not yet. 1st and 10 from the 34. Turn and give. Big hole right side.
Pryor, the ball carrier.
Is that Pryor?
Picks up about 7. 2nd down.
So gain of 7.
Number 54,
Clock
Andrew
rolling with 10
Sullivan.
seconds to go. It does not appear there's going to be any serious attempt to reach the end zone before the intermission. And that will do it. The first half has concluded here at Capital Christian High School on Access Sacramento's hometown sports game of the week. And in a first ever matchup, Grant High, after a sluggish start, manages to grind out a couple of touchdowns to lead it 12-0. Let's turn our attention to Rick Stewart.
I'm pleased with how hard we're playing. We've too many penalties, but we're playing well. We've moved the ball. We're doing a good job on defense. It's just we gotta cut away our mistakes.
Good drives, but with Pryor scoring both times.
Yeah, I mean our line did a good job. He did a good job. The quarterback did a good job of directing it. So if we can just continue, we should be all right.
What's the one key in the second half?
Second half's play good defense every time.
All right, Coach. Good luck in the second half. All right, guys. 12-0 halftime. Back to you.
Okay, Rick, thank you very much. That's where we sit. So we're going to break for our halftime show, and as I understand it, some great entertainment awaits these fans. Stay with us. Lots more to come on Access Sacramento's hometown sports game of the week.
My grandfather served in World War II. Spending time with him were the best memories of my life. I became a physician at VA because of my grandfather, so I can help others like him. I can't imagine working with better doctors or a more dedicated staff. I'm fulfilling my life's mission with the help of my team and thanks to these veterans. I'm proud to be a doctor at VA and proud to honor my grandfather every day. Search VA Careers to find out more.
I tell people I have 3 kids, one of them's adopted, I just don't know which one.
I can't imagine having to be in a birth mother's position to make that choice.
You know, I was kind of just asking her, you know, what is your motivation? Why are you doing this? And she looked at me and
All right, ladies, the floor is yours.
He says it's fuzzy. Nowhere to slide.
Alrighty, 12-0. You can see the halftime score right there. Grant with 2 late drives in the first half for touchdowns. Again, Alvarez, quality night here, regardless of the score. I mean, this is outstanding. Crowd as well.
Yeah, no, we're really excited. just to even have this game here and to see this environment, see the students enjoying it. It is 12-0. The game is not over for sure, but we're going to give it a go this half.
Now, we've got something unusual coming up at halftime, musically speaking. Now, we see Pop Reber occasionally when we're doing games here, and it's tremendous. But we've also got an addition tonight.
Yeah. He reached out to them. He reached out to the band director at Grant and appreciates their work and said, hey, wouldn't it be neat if we did something together? And so they're here. And, again, it's school spirit and high school sports and visual and performing arts all together. It's pretty cool.
Well, and that's outstanding because it does encompass not only just the football game, because obviously we have players out there, but we also have the cheerleaders here that we're seeing, but also all the performing arts, the band, which, you know, your school is well known for. Obviously, Grant is too, nationally renowned with the drum line too. So that's tremendous to have both groups here.
Yeah, it'll be fun. It'll be fun to see what they're going to do here. They're going to do something together. So it's kind of adds to the evening and brings two communities together, which is cool.
Well, we'd like to say thanks to you and to school for having us here and allowing us to have the opportunity here to be here at Capital Christian.
Well, thank you, Rick. You guys do a great job. Thanks for what you do for these high school kids, for sure.
Well, we do our best, you know, with support with schools like you, it makes it all that easier.
Thanks,
all right,
Rick.
thanks, Ab. All righty, we're going to take a break here, and it's halftime. It's 12-0. Grant leads at half, 2 late touchdowns, and we'll be back with a real great music special.
After 15 years of smoking, Eva Marie quit. There's a new lung cancer screening that could save her life. You stopped smoking, now start screening. Learn more at savedbythescan.org.
You can see it at halftime, 12-0. 2 late touchdowns by Deshaun Pryor from Grant, providing the difference in the game tonight. A well-played game, although there are a lot of penalties. We've got something really special at halftime. Not only do we have the Capital Christian Band that we talked about under the direction of Pop Reber, but we've also got the Grant drum line, which is nationally renowned. So let's take a look at the music and listen to what's going on at halftime, musically speaking, here on Access Sacramento's Hometown Sports.
Great job, Dan and Drumline. Fantastic. And now we have the $100 Visa card drawing. So get out your tickets. I'll give you one hint. It's a red ticket.
My grandfather served in World War II. Spending time with him were the best memories of my life. I became a physician at VA because of my grandfather, so I can help others like him. I can't imagine working with better doctors or a more dedicated staff. I'm fulfilling my life's mission with the help of my team and thanks to these veterans. I'm proud to be a doctor at VA and proud to honor my grandfather every day. Search VA Careers to find out more.
I tell people I have 3 kids, one of them's adopted, I just don't know which one.
I can't imagine having to be in a birth mother's position to make that choice.
You know, I was kind of just asking her, you know, what is your motivation? Why are you doing this?
After 15 years of smoking, Eva Marie quit. There's a new lung cancer screening that could save her life. You stopped smoking, now start screening. Learn more at savedbythescan.org.
Alrighty, it is 12-0 at halftime. Grant in the lead. Too late. Deshaun Pryor touchdowns for the lead. The 12-point advantage for Grant. Back and forth game. Let's take a quick break and we'll come back with some more.
So there you are. It's flu season, and you're over 65 like me. You might be forgetting something serious. Your annual flu shot. The flu can be life-threatening, especially if you have chronic conditions like diabetes and heart disease, which can worsen with the flu. The immune system weakens with age. Ask about a flu vaccine option made specifically for us. Visit ncoa.org/flu to learn more and talk to your doctor about vaccine options for people 65 and older.
Hey, you.
Yeah, you. Getting that college education? What are you gonna do? Graduate and take some office job? Be like everybody else? Or will you dare do something different? Like be a teacher. You could be my teacher. You got the skills. The smarts? Yes.
Alrighty, 12-0 halftime. 2 Deshaun Pryor touchdowns late. Casey, tell me what you saw.
Well, I thought our guys played hard. They came and answered the bell, and I thought we had a real good first quarter. Had a couple breaks there, didn't go our way, but our guys are playing hard. We gave up missed a couple tackles, and they led to big plays, and you can't do that against a good team like Grant. But we'll bounce back. We're ready to play the good second half. We have to have a good 6 minutes here in the third quarter and get back in. We've got to find a way to get some points on the board. But I think the main thing for us, we just got to start competing. Don't worry about the scoreboard. Just keep working hard, keep competing, and let the scoreboard take care of itself.
What's going to be the one key?
Well, I think up front, we got to do a better job up front, being physical. Hopefully we'll wear them down a little bit as we go on, but we got to be physical up front. And I feel like when they've had some success, we kind of, took a little bit of plays off and it hurt us, So our line's got to compete and fight, and we got to make some plays with our skill guys.
All right, Coach. Good luck in the second half.
Thank you very much.
All right, thanks, Coach. All righty, there it is, 12-0 at the half. We'll send it back upstairs, Will and Jim.
Okay, thank you very much, Rick. Both squads readying for second half action, and you heard Casey Taylor with that explanation of what he observed in the first half.
Well, definitely will, and he's rightfully so. His line's got to step it up, particularly his defensive front linebackers, because the Grant O-line kind of took over that second quarter on those long drives.
And the fatigue happened about right there, where it looked like the Capital Christian defense wilted some. Well, I guess our executive statistician is crunching numbers in his usual fine fashion, and here are our first half stats.
All right, let's take a look at the rushing yards here. Grant with a big edge with 145 versus 25, and Pryor and company really moved the ball, particularly in that second quarter. Passing yards are virtually even, 51-52. Neither quarterback possesses much of a passing threat. Total offense, 196-77, clearly in Grant's hands. First downs, 9-7. Penalties, 9 for 84, 4 for 35. That's 13 penalties, and I believe we've had 5 that were decided not taken. Turnovers 1 apiece, so that's even. Time of Poe is very even, almost 12 apiece, Will. So as we look at the biggest difference as we look there is rushing yards and points on the board.
All resulting from the middle of the second quarter to near the end of the quarter. Individually speaking, Pryor's done a whale of a job for Grant. 16 carries for 119, and after getting shut down probably in his first 7 or 8 carries, he's really opened up since then. Piedra at the quarterback position, 24 yards on a couple of pass attempts. Now for Capital Christian, Jones, boy oh boy, he's been on the spot tonight. 13 carries and 7 rushes, and Aleli 15 yards on 7 carries. So you can see not much happening. Split screen, Mike Albergini on the left in his 27th season, Casey Taylor in his 16th on the right, guiding Capital Christian.
Yeah, 2 of the area's premier coaches right there. Long time they've coached together in the All-Star games, etc.
We have just been enlightened. It appears that number 18, who has taken over at quarterback for Grant, not on the roster, Xavier Johnson, the former Cordova Flash, engineering those scoring drives.
Well, that looked a little familiar. We saw him last year, and with his running ability, Will, and his ability to flush the pocket, etc., he's ideal for that great option of Grant, and possesses a definite throwing, and plus he's got a year of experience under his belt, and he must have just been cleared late today.
What a break for the Pacers. Yes, sir. We saw Xavier Johnson in a tremendous performance for Cordova last year against an excellent Vista Del Lago squad. So what a break for the Pacers to break in their newest Pacer, Xavier Johnson, 18.
Well, there's a world of difference in the overall team conference, but you still got to give credit to the offensive front with their blocking. And then Pryor with hard moves, vertical running, they just decided they're coming right at that Cap defense. Will wore them down, as you mentioned.
Well, Capital Christian will have the pill to start the second half, and certainly going to try to muster a drive and chip into that 12-point deficit. And we'll see how fresh each of these teams is after the halftime break on a hot, sticky night for the players. Nice and comfortable for the fans. From the 6-yard line. Downfield coverage, terrific. Gaines had nowhere to go.
11 for the first and 10 Cougars.
Very little blocking, so it's going to be poor field position to open the third quarter for Capital Christian. They're pinned back on their 12.
Well, Cap Christian has got to put some running game together, and once again, I think Ross, one of the top running backs in the area, has to have more touches, Will, either via receiving and or running.
Fourier out wide to the left. A run play on first down is just blasted backward, maybe to the line of scrimmage. No guarantee on that.
Well, the linebackers of Grant are very mobile. Lopa, Ford. Hernandez has had a big night making 2 solos. Fotofili. And I'll tell you what, they get to the football real quick. And right now, Capital does not run misdirection, and they're not worried about the passing game. So those Grant Pacers are staying right at home. Those linebackers are freed up, doing a great job.
Pacers number 54.
Triple wide receivers to the left, coming up on 2nd and 10 after no gain on first down. Quick flip, right side, got a block. Zigzag move and some speed out across the 25, nearly to the 30. Ishmael Rayberg.
Well, that was nice. They got to do more of that to get rid of the rush. Well, once again, a quick screen. Have a look here. You see Jones gets the ball off. We're quick on what you call a quick screen, and 9 with a great job, great effort by Ishmael Rayberg. No more for his receiving, but I like the call.
And he had 2 excellent blocks there to spring him. 17 yards on the carry. First down Capital with 10:40 to go, early third. Cougars trailing at 12-0 to Grant in a first ever meeting between these two. Heavy rush. Jones throws out of bounds to evade the rush.
Passing complete. Brings up a second.
Well, once again, yeah, he's been under rush the whole game, and this quick screens and then getting the ball out early is important. And once again, you've mentioned this before, he doesn't have to look deep. He should be concentrating on those 5, 7, 8, 10-yard routes where you're throwing the ball under 2 seconds. This is very, very important that Casey goes to a quicker passing game.
And, yeah, it would neutralize the rush and probably produce some big gains. So here they come up to the line on 2nd and 10, early here in the third quarter. Triple wide receivers to the left. Grant is going to send extra pressure. Jones escapes and darts outside, 35-40, and a stiff arm shoved out near the 42 or 3, and the second cameraman of the evening is decked.
At about the 43, a gain of about 13 yards.
That's looked like one of the home Capital cameramen.
Let's
First
take
down.
another
Let's
look.
look at this. There you see, great move by Jones. Inside, outside, stiff arms going out of bounds, and the cameraman knows where he is at now.
Great job.
Consecutive first downs rattled off. One via the pass, and Jones on a quarterback keeper. Despite taking a lot of shots tonight, he had some strong legs on that run. Good protection this time. And he overthrows a wide open receiver after the protection broke down. He got blasted.
Well, once again, Omar Lott having a huge night. Omar has been in that backfield making plays. Number 55, watch him, and he is freed up. Really impressive. And perhaps tonight, even though he's replacing Umana, he might have found himself a spot on that front 3 for Grant.
You took the words right out of my mouth. He's really turned in a major performance off the bench tonight. In fact, they haven't missed Umana based on the success that Lott has had. 4 for 11 passing with 1 interception for 69 yards. Jones pressed into service, awaiting the clearance for Jake Cruz to become eligible for Capital. Meantime, Trey Jones earning his keep out here in heavy company, and a flag flies.
prior to the snap. False start. Offense.
Procedure penalty.
5-yard penalty. Remains second down.
Unforced mistakes
Back to the
can definitely be drive busters. 2nd and 15 now
about 15.
at the 38-yard line. There's been a lull in the crowd since the intermission and since that Grant drum line rattled everybody. Prime time for a big play. 10-12 to go, still early third. Maurice Gaines, one of 3 wide receivers to the near side. Jones rushed, deep throw, broken up. Intended for Foyer, and again, good coverage out there by Reed, Julian Reed, 23.
Once again, heavy pressure on Jones. And looking at the sidelines, I'm seeing 2 quarterbacks over there, not only number 6 Cruz, but also DJ Malott. So Jones is apparently by himself as the quarterback of the night with no replacement suited up.
It looks like he's going to have to go the distance. No one in the bullpen. Trey Jones on the hot seat admirably for the Capital Christian Cougars. 10:05 to go, third quarter, 12-0 Pacers. Cougars trying to generate some offense here, 3rd and 15. Big rush, quick hitch. Boom!
Whoa, for the Philly. That's why he's an all-leaguer.
Out on the flat. Maurice Gaines brought down at that point at about the.
Did he close to the ball, Will?
Forward progress to the 35.
Oh, yeah. Let's take another look.
Here comes Mr. 7. Look out.
He just introduced himself.
Defending on the previous play, number 7, James.
4th and 18 after that defensive stop. Punt formation shown for the Cougars. Boyer. Nice booming punt, but returnable.
He's got a lane.
Near side, Julian Reed nearly makes midfield, and another flag flies. 30-yard punt, excellent return. We'll see about the penalty.
12 yards on the return. Looks like a penalty flag at the 45.
Well, our game referee, Dennis Ward, apparently sorted this out. We'll take another look. Here comes Reed, the tackle. But the flag was thrown in a different area.
Yeah.
Here's the call.
Here we go.
Personal foul, blindside block. First down.
Thank you, Dennis. Didn't quite hear all that, but a blindside block, I guess, will suffice.
As a result of the personal
yeah, well,
foul,
we've got,
again,
not that it's hard to count, somewhere in the 18-19 vicinity of
First and 10 from the Pacer 30. Here's a give, right side running, nothing doing.
5.
That's Williams again with the carry.
Eugene Williams, the
nice
ball carrier.
Lateral defense, outside containment.
Well, once again, I'm surprised here that Coach Albergini is not going to run that lead and off-tackle play or inside zone and turn Pryor loose like he did in that big second quarter. A long drive here might put this game out of hand. This is a definite test, this here drive, both from offensive or defensive standpoint.
Big speed outside. Here's trouble for the Cougars. Williams loose. Here's a cutback, and he's dropped inside the 40.
Okay, once again, inside, right inside.
Eugene Williams.
You don't have to run outside tackle with these guys.
38-yard line.
Williams and Pryor. Let's have a look at that.
33 yards on the carry before McCoy made the stop.
Huge hole inside. And then Williams had that cut back to the outside.
There he is, Xavier Johnson.
We've seen
the former Lancer.
Former Lancer, now a Pacer. From Lancer to Pacer in one nice transfer.
Whistle stops play. Another flag. Yes, it is.
prior to the snap. So I'll start offense.
Thank you, Dennis Ward. You know, it's been a lovely evening tonight. We've had a nice cool breeze, keeping things comfortable for the fans up here and around the area. Lovely atmosphere. You know, we drove in and past the customary sites out in this area, went past the orphanage and got over here to Capital Christian, and it's just been a whale of a show.
Well, it certainly has here, and I'm sure there are no odds on the number of flags thrown tonight.
Turn and give. Williams has the carry with big speed, dragged down.
76 clear, and temperature is dropping. I like it.
To the 29-yard line of Capital.
So speedy Eugene Williams limps off, but he carries to the 29-yard line. Here's another look. This is big speed by a scat back.
Watch Williams here playing behind Pryor, giving him a break, and he looked like he dragged that ankle a little bit on the ground there.
He did.
Yeah, he is, and
writhing in pain.
Yeah, we're going to probably see Pryor back in the ball game unless he's injured.
Williams 5 carries for 49 and a burst of 33 to highlight that. And it looks like with more work, Pryor and Williams could be a nice looking tandem.
Oh, I'd say so. They usually have two of them, and
now certainly not to the degree we've seen the previous countless years where they've had 3 or 4 or 5 guys that are capable.
Both these guys are first-year players, first-year varsity guys, Williams and Pryor. And Williams, as you mentioned, it shows great burst inside. Pryor is kind of built low to the ground like a running back here. He reminds me of some of those great Marcellus in that group.
Timing is everything, they say, and 3 Pacers at least were on a different page.
Well, he's got to be careful. He's got to use that pacer count and not the lancer count, and keep his guys right in there.
You know, Dennis Ward might go home tonight and tell his family that this was the game that he called a record number of plays.
And what's Coach Albee saying to his players here? My goodness.
He's saying we need one more. Trips to the near side and penalties. Grant 12, Capital 5. Johnson with all night to throw. Now flushed. Points. Fires. Sideline. Incomplete.
But he's got the arm to get there, doesn't he?
Incomplete.
Paris Warren, the intended receiver. No, Johnson is ideal for this team.
Oh, perfect. Because he's mobile, he's rangy, he's an athlete. He's exactly, if the coaching staff ordered a quarterback, I certainly would fit it.
He's still learning the offense, as we can see. And he's 3 out of 5 for 51 yards since coming off the bench to relieve Wesley Jones, who had been pressed into service following the Nate Thomas injury.
Well, he's his own man. He does remind me a lot of Terry Stark's quarterback who went on to college play. The only difference, he's right-handed, and Terry's quarterback, 3-year starter, was left-handed. Similar in their ways, very athletic.
You betcha. Cotton was quite a player. Out of the shotgun, Johnson is rushed and has to flush. Near side, fires, broken up. Nice deflection there. Excellent job on the coverage. Just got a fingernail on it to distract the play.
We got another.
And we've got another melee. And it's Lott, who you spoke so highly of.
Yeah.
But on the pass play, as we see another flag, and another flag being dropped, and another flag being dropped.
Well, no, see, Lott is verbalizing as he's leaving.
Well, it's possible that Coach Albergini has lost 2 defensive linemen for the night, and if that's the case, then 2 defensive linemen for next week. And a scolding on the sideline. We can see Coach Albergini, arms crossed in a defensive posture, not happy with the turn of events despite leading it here 12-0 midway third.
Well, right now, he might be leaving this game with 2 or 3 flags on him, and there you see the Grant staff watching how the officials come out of this conference, because it appears they're thinking about ejection.
And our audience at home here sees the Capital Christian huddle, and Casey Taylor trying to encourage his ball club. In total offense, Grant has really picked it up since a real slow first quarter and a half. 241 yards on 31 plays, while Capital just 105 total yards on 33 tries.
Well, again, I'm not making excuses for Casey's ball club, but very difficult with one quarterback able to play and inexperienced, and two quarterbacks sitting on the sidelines and having to run his offense, okay?
Definitely so. Mike Albergini is hot right now. He's starting to come across the field and stopped right there at the hash marks. He is not satisfied or content in any kind of way with the explanations he's getting. Dennis Ward.
And no.
We love hand signals. They're so expressive. Offsetting penalties. They wash him out. There's the down and distance. Ooh, daddy.
I haven't seen an ejection sign, have you?
No, but that is not surprising given the confusion. There you see Andrea Barber following Mike Albergini across the field. And boy, he's hot. And now official Barber in between there trying to settle things down. And we see Casey Taylor out here on the field wanting an explanation, and this game has
offsetting personal fouls, and then against both teams, and then
two elite coaches among the best ever in section history.
15 yards.
Well, they're certainly not happy with what's going on here tonight.
Oh, no.
25-yard line of Capital.
It could be safe to say that, without being overly critical, control of this contest is somewhat unraveled to the dismay of both opposing coaches, and confusion running rampant on what's going on.
Lott was having a phenomenal defensive game, and might have been up for possible a defensive player the way he played the second and third quarters. Will
Xavier Johnson running the show, draw play, shut down, gain of 1. He hit the hole quick, Williams, but got stuffed.
And Xavier running to the sideline to call every play because, like you said, Will, he doesn't know this Pacer offense yet, so racing up and down the sidelines and getting the plays from the sidelines.
Well, he's probably having some fun, too. It's his first game of eligibility, and he's brought them off the deck from a scoreless tie with a couple of TDs. 6 carries for 50. Eugene Williams, the speed back for Grant, having a nice outing. 2nd and 9 after gain of 1. Johnson wants to throw. Looks right, looks left. Still looking. Fires to the end zone. Touchdown Pacers on a 24-yard strike. He had way too much time.
And he flushed the pocket. He was very, very patient in the pocket, working himself free. Was number 15, wide
Paris
open.
Warren.
Paris Warren, and you've heard that name before. Dad was a great player for the Pacers and at Utah.
And later with the Buccaneers.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah. And so the Pacers have come to life.
Well, the crowd you see there, it's been an entertaining evening, certainly for Pacer fans. Capital Christian, so far scoreless. Their crowd should come alive when they can hit pay dirt. Kick on the way, line drive, Sox got it. Soxley.
Well, they finally got a conversion here tonight. And Soxley kicked a ton of them in 2016. Look at this play again. Watch Johnson flush the pocket.
The $100 Visa card, one more chance.
There it is in the end zone.
As we go to break, the cash in to Paris Warren. Don't go away.
What about my privacy?
It's protected.
And the music I listen to? Protected. What about how I wear my hair? And the things I say and write?
The Constitution protects your rights.
It isn't an old, fading piece of paper.
It's a living document.
The Constitution says there are 3 branches of government.
So we're kind of like the 4th branch of government.
We are the future of America.
Find out how you could become part of Constitution Day.
For me.
For all. For real.
Constitution Day is every day.
19-0 as we continue our game here.
Touchback for on the kickoff. Ball will come out. Cougar will have it first down and 10.
Grant with 3 touchdowns engineered, me too. 3 touchdowns engineered by eventual starting quarterback Xavier Johnson off the bench and making a lot of friends fast.
Very quickly, he will become a favorite of the Pacer fans, without a doubt.
Outside bounce, nice touch.
All right, there you go. Finally springing one.
Deshaun Lee with first down running for the Cougars. And a bright spot, the last scoring drive engineered by Xavier Johnson. 3 minutes, 22 seconds, covering 70 yards, 8 plays, and cashing it in with the 24-yard scoring aerial to Paris Warren. 5:24, clock rolling, flip side of quarter number 3. Grant now with a 19-point cushion. Jones rolls and fires a high toss, incomplete.
Once again, they've had Jones kind of scampering and flushing the pocket, having to get outside, running east and west, and trying to extend plays with his legs. But everything now is outside the numbers. Very difficult. So Grant can defend outside the numbers because they're not being attacked inside the numbers in the hash. Okay? They're not being run at. So they can defend the outside. They can have 8 people in the box. And right now, the defense is in command for the Pacers.
5 for 14 for 66 yards for Jones. Turn and give. That was a 3rd and 10 plus on that, and he failed to get back to the line of scrimmage. 4th and 11 upcoming. .440, third quarter, clock rolling. So far, the Grant defense has denied anything Capital has tried to do on offense. Jones fires, underthrown and picked off. He was going for Fourier, but the ball underthrown. And again, Reed with the coverage and the interception. Julian Reed.
Ball at the 40-yard line. The Grant Pacers will take over first and 10.
Two thefts for Reed tonight. Interceptions in the second and third quarters. You see this is underthrown as well.
Well, yeah, it's underthrown and it's up for grabs. So you're going to put the ball up in the air that long and hang it up there. There's not too much good that can happen. And Pacers with a commanding lead here, 19-0 with 4:19 on the clock here.
It is a commanding lead, but not the type of a lead that's been generated with blowout type efficiency. There were 3 grudging, grinding drives for the scorers, and they stay on the ground. Eugene Williams is gang tackled.
Eugene Williams to the 43-yard line, a gain of 3 on the play.
Once again, even with Xavier Johnson at the helm, certainly far more dangerous than before.
Josiah Mackey on the stop.
Why not manage the clock, run the football, establish a run game, learn a little play action, get Johnson familiar with the offense, no hurry, take your time, milk the clock a little bit, game management.
2nd and 7, football parked at the Pacer 43. Low snap, it gets away from Johnson. He scoops it, gets away from traffic, reverses, dances past another defender, again, rolls, fires on the run. Oh my goodness!
Was that a play of what, Will?
The X-Man, Xavier Johnson, with a Houdini escape routine there, avoiding about 5 tacklers, and then hooks up on the strike after getting out of trouble on the throw to Bohannon.
Oh, my goodness, he picked up that fumble. Look at this. How many people had shots at him? Wow, he comes out throwing, completing it up the field, right at the down marker.
Did I say he was ideal for this team?
Oof, without a question. Without a question.
I think we spoke about that a couple of weeks ago, that this
yeah.
would be a perfect fit.
Oh, yeah, without a doubt.
Yeah.
Flipping penalty indicated against the
I think that he
Pacers.
might have crossed the line of scrimmage, Will, plus linemen were downfield.
That was probably what they hit them with, and that's usually the outcome when there's such a great scramble like that. That's Dennis Ward and his crew have been put to the test tonight. Okay, 3:17, late third, and now we're going to have another stoppage.
They've got to get the chain people who should not have moved now. The official on the sideline here is straightening it out and putting them back where they belong.
Well, the line judge evidently did not scrutinize enough. We saw head linesman Andrea Barber go over there to solidify that. I suppose those have been replaced in the proper spots.
Well, Grant's not griping.
After the penalty,
Second and 31 from the Grant 20.
31
Cougars could use a huge defensive play here. Oh, look, another flag.
Well, the Grant linemen are moving to running the outside zone play with outside zone blocking, and they're moving early.
Now, I think we're over 20 now, right?
Oh, definitely.
25 maybe?
Definitely, if you count those refused. If you count those negated, we're probably in the 25 category.
Probably one or two of these officials might need rotator cuff attention after throwing so many flags.
Well, the down marker people have got to pay attention.
Grant, 14 penalties assessed for 119 yards. Capital, 6 for 55. That's 20 right there, and not counting the refusals. A good burst and a hard hit.
Yeah, it's a nice tackle in there.
Not sure about the 12-yard.
32. Yes, it was.
Outstanding.
Mm-hmm.
Making a stop, Josiah Mankey
Looked
along
like
with help from DeMarcus Ross.
Mankey, yes. One of the few solo tackles we've seen tonight, Will. There's Coach on the sideline talking to his assistants, a little frustrated.
But what I was saying earlier, I think still stands. The 3 scoring drives were not the what I call customary Grant drives. We didn't see the big plays in any of those 3.
Well, maybe this is not the type of team they have this year.
Probably right.
And
look, another flag, Jim.
Yeah. They've got to be the Grant of 17. Now, Coach was talking to the other former head coaches, his offensive line coach, Dave Hoskins. Hoskins on the sidelines talking with head coach Taylor.
Well, let's take a break. We're going to step back for a moment and ask you to stay right there. Don't wander off. 19-0 Grant here late third.
What if you could invest in the future of kids, like a stock? Not the kind of stock that's about making money, but a stock for social change. A whole new kind of investment called Better Futures. When you invest, it helps kids go to college. Believe in us, invest in us, watch us grow.
My name is Sydney, and I'm your dividend.
Well, we've reached the final minute 41 of the third quarter, and Grant with a sizable lead here at 19-0, trying to crank it up again. Johnson flushed. Boy, what an escape artist. He fires away, got a man, overthrown, and the receiver decked. That was a tough cover hit there
Pass incomplete brings up a
by
fourth
Foyer,
down.
who got a little shaken up on the play. If you look at total yardage tonight, clearly Grant is tipping the scale. 272, and Capital a grand total of 119.
Well, here we go. Grant, fourth down, obviously punting, 4th and miles, approximately 40 yards. And watch this. It should be in great field position here. Capital with possibly possession near midfield or better.
Short punt. It hits a Capital. Wow, that was an excellent recovery play by McCoy, who inadvertently got hit by that bounding kickoff and just sprang after it.
Ball is down by number 11.
Well, he was very fortunate there. Unintentional, move the ball forward.
Around 44.
So
But it
excellent
is
field
1st and
position
10.
after the 38-yard punt as the Cougars take over at their own 44 with a minute 23 left here in the third.
Well, it's time for them, if they're going to get on the scoreboard, will to get on if they're going to make a game of this. We're nearing the end of the third quarter.
Let's see about the play selection. That didn't work.
Well,
a near fumble on the give to Laley.
Hand off to Deshaun Lee.
Yeah, that's that. Hernandez shooting that gap there. Watch him blow hard up the middle if we see a replay. He's had 3 solos tonight. He got a little assistance there, but I'll tell you, wide open. No one picks him up. Watch Hernandez free up here. 32. Here he is. On the bottom of that pile.
That was a juggled handoff there on the give from Jones.
Well, somebody's got
Laley.
to stop penetration in A-gap. They're coming hard in the A-gap between guard and center.
Loss of 4, 2nd and 14 from the Cougar 40. Who's got it? Jones cannot slip that man, but reverses and cannot get outside.
Oh, nice job by Carl Reed.
Almost back to the original line of
Yeah.
scrimmage.
Julian Reed, check that.
23
Coach's
is the
son.
stop for the
Excellent job by Reed in the open field. Now we got 3rd and 10. Have a look at this. Jones flushing the pocket, gets free.
He has played a heck of a game tonight, though his stats certainly will not reflect major success in that regard. But he now 9 for 31 yards, 9 carries. Jones. He has absorbed probably about 50 or 60 shots tonight on those 9 carries.
Well, he has. I'll give him a lot of credit, Will. He has. And quite frankly, they haven't shown much of a threat, and so they've turned the D loose on him.
Are we going to Rick? Thanks. Okay, let's turn our attention.
All righty, Papa Reaver here with me on the sideline. Tell me what happened at halftime and how that came to be.
Oh, it was an incredible opportunity. We get to host the Grant High School football team, but their nationally recognized drumline came as well, and their band. So we decided to do a little halftime number, final countdown, and it was a hoot. What a kick.
It was outstanding watching it and listening to it. I mean, this is an opportunity with 2 great school bands and orchestra type units out here that can do something like this.
Well, it's interesting because we don't really have a drum line. We're more focused in jazz and pop stuff, and they've got a great drum line, so to mix together was an incredible experience.
Something you wish you could do all the time with other schools.
Absolutely.
Well, you're so far ahead with some of these other schools that it's tremendous. Papa, thanks for spending a moment with us, and thanks for being here.
Thank you very much.
All right, back to you guys.
Thank you, Rick. 3rd and 10 from the Cougar 44. Jones upstairs, got a man out there, just overthrown off the fingertips. Good coverage, but he had the coverage beat by a step. Gaines just couldn't quite stretch for it.
Well, we got the kicking team coming in here, and they've had a punt a number of times here tonight. And even though they're down 3 touchdowns, 4th and 10 from this position is not a good one. You got to, They don't show as much fatigue as they did in the second period. They're playing a little harder in this third period, Casey Taylor's guys, and hanging in there, giving up only 1 touchdown here this second half.
Jones, 5 for 16 through the air. He's had 2 picked, both by Julian Reed, 66 yards upstairs. Punt angled away from the returner, bounding out near the 25-yard line.
Well, I like that punt because he sacrificed a little distance for no return. And a good job by punter for Cap Christian. Excellent. Kenyon Bowyer, who does the kicking and the punting.
Over. 1st and 10.
Early fourth, 19-0 Grant after a scoreless first half. 31 yards on the punt that sets up the Pacers at their own 30. I wouldn't be surprised if Jones opens it up even more on this series. I mean Johnson, I should say. Xavier Johnson, very flashy and exciting. Turn and give. Williams getting a nice workout in the second half after Pryor had carried the load in the first half.
Well, they're just running those, they're running the zone and they're running that trap leading up the hole, and it looks like they can just continue to concentrate. They're averaging 5, 6, 7 a carry now on that play, and why stop?
Brings up a 2nd and 3, working from the Grant 37-yard line. Clock rolling with 11:10 to go in the fourth. Williams bounces off, tries to sneak outside, shakes a tackler, and nearly gets to the line, or to the first down marker. Very close.
Eugene Williams, the ball carrier.
Well, it's great extra effort on the part of Williams and Pryor. They run hard, they bounce out hard, they give you everything on a run.
Stop for the Cougars.
And they just enough to move the chains.
The ball carried to the 40
and
is good for a first down.
If I were Coach Albergini and Coach Reed right now, it's all I want to do is move the chains, move the clock, and not worry about how many scores. If it takes forever to get the next touchdown, that's all well and fine. Meanwhile, just keep Cap Christian on D.
So the Pacers looking at another 1st and 10. The football parked at the Grant 40. And Grant in no apparent hurry, in full command of this game. Johnson, tough to trap. He wiggles off the hook and fires on the run, and he's got a receiver, but a penalty mark is thrown.
Well, I think he threw a flag on somebody on the sideline. Said something here, I think.
I believe so. Right down here on the near sideline in front of the Cougar bench.
Yeah.
Here's the call. Thanks, Dennis. It's against Grant, evidently.
You're back in the previous spot.
Yeah.
10? 5. Okay. Repeat first.
Well, I think that, did they get him for over the line of scrimmage?
Well, he's going to tell us.
Yard penalty from the previous spot. Repeat first down.
Well, I couldn't do the lip reading there, but.
Well, I wasn't getting the signal that it was either ineligible receiver downfield and or past the line of scrimmage there. I wasn't getting clarity.
-5, 1st and 15 from the 35. Grant penalized again for the, well, I lost track.
Yeah, for no question about it.
5-yard gain back to the original line of scrimmage. First, or I should say 2nd and 10 upcoming now as we've reached the 9.5-minute mark here in the fourth.
Well, Grant now content just run the football 2nd and long here. That's okay. It again, keep the tempo up with Xavier Johnson at the controls and run your offense.
Turn and give, a blast, good for 5. That'll bring up a 3rd and 5.
Jesse Hernandez.
No,
Ball
and now
carrier
they're
close to
giving
the
up.
45-yard line.
Well, a
3rd and
carry by
5.
Hernandez gains 5, but he's limping off the field with a leg injury.
Well, they don't want to lose him now because he is one of the league's better linebackers. Okay, he's a backup fullback for Sotoa and a good blocker, but once again, at this point of you've got to be smart with your personnel because you got a full season ahead of you.
3rd and 5. He wants to throw, all night to throw. Missed his man. Actually, 2 receivers had a chance at that, and neither could get to it. 4th and 5.
Well, Foyer playing some defense, known more for his receiving, but it appears to me he's been playing quite a bit in the secondary tonight. Not listed as a starter, number 7 for Capital.
Well, he's going to be one of their top players. If Capital can get their top players back from injuries, you know, they're going to really be a serious threat. There's Gaines, number 3, in deep return formation on 4th and 5. Booming punt high. Gaines, a diving catch outside his 20.
The 23-yard line for the Cougars. They'll take over.
Williams has been off the bench for 63 yards and 9 carries to complement Pryor's 119. So
punt, no return,
they've teamed up for 200 rushing. And there's 33-yard punt. As we see, well, I can't quite see the man on the moon, but that is an orange moon
tonight. That's a great shot there. Wow.
Bad moon rising.
Okay, here we are with 8 minutes to go, 8:12 on the clock here. Capital, I'm sure wanting to get on a scoreboard real bad and have put together some kind of a drive and not get shut out in this ball game. Let's see what Jones and company can do here. Leah Lally in the backfield with him.
Motion by Rayberg. That play is doomed, and a face mask and another penalty on Grant, inadvertent, but when you start grabbing high without technique, that's what you're going to get.
Yep, that's it, and we've had the clock stop on numerous occasions tonight with the flags being thrown.
Numerous? Yes. Is it my imagination, or has Ross been a complete stranger in the second half?
Well, that's interesting because except for a couple of plays that I felt, I thought going into the ball game he'd have 10-15 touches between runs and or receptions. And for whatever reason, you know, he hasn't seen the ball here much in this second half. I don't know if he's on the sideline.
Well, I see him on the sideline there, number 2. Maybe he got banged up and I didn't notice, but they certainly miss Ross and certainly Christian Simmons, who suffered the unfortunate broken leg last week.
Well, they have to. And if they do get Jake Cruz, the former Whitney quarterback, eligibility, certainly I would think that they're going to have to spark up this offense and as they get ready for their league play. But coming from this tough non-league schedule and going into their Division 4 schedule of the season, I'm not saying it's a breeze, but the competition will be quite different.
Whew, that's an understatement. 1st and 10 from the 23. Right side running,
Lee, the ball carrier. To about the 23.
Not much
line.
going on there. Jones has really taken a pounding tonight. He's not moving very well as you see him trot back and forth.
2nd down and 10.
Well, he will be one tired young man tomorrow and Sunday.
Tired and bruised.
Yeah. But he'll recover, and he's given us a valiant effort, even in this cause where I'm sure that if a quarterback change comes about, he'll be in that lineup somewhere else.
at a wide receiver spot for sure. Jones wants to throw, fires on the run, deep sideline, overthrown.
Well, it's awful tough. Again, he's throwing on the run.
3rd and 10.
With his shoulders going, he's constantly hitting out of bounds. Intended receiver, Maurice Gaines. Actually, we haven't heard much about Gaines tonight. Just a very gifted receiver, defensive back.
Well, the passing game, it just isn't there. It's not going to happen until Cruz rolls around. And it gives them another dimension when that does occur. Right now, Grant's playing the run and will dare you to complete a pass on us. Jones, 9 carries for 31, and that accounts for about 90 hits. And 5 for 19, passing for 66. He's had 2 picked by Julian Reed. Step up and get away. Nice ankle tackle.
Jones tripped up at the 26-yard line. Picked up about 3 on the play. 4th down, and we'll call it long 7.
4th down coming up for the Cougars. They need 7 to convert.
As we look at this again, there's a direct snap to Jones. He's looking down the field, flushes the pocket inside, and guts back to the line of scrimmage before he's tackled. And it's punt time. Special teams are getting to work out tonight.
Boyer standing outside the 10, angles the kick, and it takes a great roll for Capital and bounds out of bounds near the Grant 27-yard line. 47 yards on that boot.
Well, when he starts to run and take the step up like a run, he's generally going to kick that end over low trajectory, end over end. When he strands straight back and booms it, he's just going for the spiral.
Punt, no return. The ball sits at the.
So the Grant Pacers are set up
1st and
10.
Grant.
At the 27-yard line. Sitting on top of a 19-0 lead, 5:50 to go. Flip side of quarter number 4. Xavier Johnson on in relief at quarterback has been the difference in this game. But alas, another penalty.
Yeah, false start.
Procedure penalty called against the Pacers, 5 yards. 1st and 15.
Well, considering everything and all the circumstances swirling around this matchup, including the key injuries, Capital Christian has battled gallantly tonight. Big hole and 1st down running.
Well, now you see 43, Vianney Satoa in the ball game, primarily known for his blocking. But I'll tell you, he got up the middle pretty good there. Watch Satoa get free inside, bounces it out off tackle, shows a burst of speed.
Before he got to the daylight, I liked the way he protected the ball with 2 arms. Then when he had the running room.
Yes, he did. He runs like a fullback, a great blocker. The fullback in the Grant system is known for his blocking, occasional receiving, not too much for his running ability.
But alas, the play is wiped out. Another penalty on Grant High. Leading 19-0, but getting close to 25 penalties.
Indicated against the Pacers, 5 yards. Ball back to the, looks like the 17-yard line.
Hey, you locked up, Ish. Locked up. Don't pedal out that fast.
That run play is jammed up as the clock rolls with 5:20 to go. Well, we're in the process of filling out our ballots for our players of the game. A weekly ritual. Rick Stewart will be interviewing them at the conclusion. We still got 5 minutes to go, however, but the discussion is underway and the ballots have been issued.
Hey, D-Bar, let's go.
The Pacers deployed 2 wide receivers to the near side and 2 backs on either side of Johnson. Deep throw right on the money, just a shade overthrown. Paris Warren almost able to get to it as he outran 2 defenders.
Intended for number 15, Paris Warren. Covering on the play, number 11, Chris.
Well, the Pacer crowd probably hasn't seen all what they wanted to see tonight, but they've seen enough to know that they're ahead by 19 in the 4th quarter, and they've seen their new quarterback of the present and the future in Xavier Johnson. So that crowd has enough to be happy about to start their weekend with the Pacers' 2nd win of the season, if they can hold on here to their 19-point lead. Third and 10. He's going to run it, turns the corner and cuts it, stays on his feet, dropped finally from behind, crossing the 40. First down yardage.
Yes, I see her up there, and she's still a very loyal Pacer. Believe me, a Pacer for life, and having lost her son, unfortunately, prior to a Grant ball game. And, you know, I'm glad to see that she remains a Pacer for life, and fans all about her for what she went through. She's a credit to Pacerland.
Well, definitely the leading tragedy of the high school ranks around here. Well, it looks like the ball came back because the Pacers were holding, Jim.
My goodness.
20-yard line.
We've had our share of it.
And Xavier Johnson was removed from the game. Short yardage on that draw play.
Number 10, the ball carrier, Christian Kinsey.
So back in the ball game, Wesley Jones at quarterback for the Pacers.
About 7. Oh, check that. 16. Defending on the play, number 34. Justin Hope.
So 4th and 16, Grant's going to punt the football, and it's a poor punt, very short, and a backwards bounce for the Cougars, and it'll be killed at about the Grant 41.
18-yard punt, no return.
18 is the shortest punt of the evening, but with 3:06 to go, Capital Christian offense back on the field for one more good try to get into the scoring column.
Reminder, basketball girls, come on up to the press box area. We need to get you ready to help clean up around. We appreciate you. We'll see you here.
Good, Sean.
Chased out of bounds, Deshaun Laley at the 3-minute mark. See where they spot the football, gain of about 4 or so.
There's a penalty flag.
And coming off the field, another injured Pacer. And
let's have a look at that. There you see Lieli here getting free on the outside, just getting out of bounds, stop the clock. Kinsey having a good night.
And having a good night, but limping off the field there.
Yeah.
Don't know the extent of that injury, but I'd say at least 8 players have been banged up.
Be first in about 19.
You don't want to lose any of them. Kinsey's outstanding wide receiver and pretty good defensive back. They certainly Pacers have got to, you think they have a little more subs in there resting their troops because getting ready for the season.
1st and 20 from midfield. Jones hands off.
Deshaun Lee, the ball carrier.
All of a sudden, Lee, number 10 is getting a lot of reps here. Deshaun Lee getting a lot of reps here in the second half, Will.
He's carried the load, certainly, and Casey Taylor's running back core has been really depleted by injury.
Now, we haven't seen much of Williams and Ridardi and of course, DeMarcus Ross tonight.
Haven't heard Ross.
Second half.
2nd and 22. Jones broken up.
Well, that's a great effort.
Pass incomplete.
That's a great effort there on the part of Grant, number 13. Outstanding effort.
The pass intended that time for Fourier, and it was right in his hands when it got stripped away. That was excellent timing by Stallworth.
Kamari Stallworth, number 13. One of the 2 stalwarts on this ball club, and of course a very famous name in the Grant history, having a Stallworth play in the NFL for a considerable amount of time. Played first down in the South at
a fumble and a Grant recovery. Bad exchange from Jones to the ball carrier. Never did stick it in the breadbasket. Turnover number 3.
At the Cougar 46-yard line.
So with 1:51 left, it's likely the final opportunity for Capital Christian to get on the scoreboard has just evaporated.
Well, I think you see Grant here want to run the ball a time or two and maybe take a knee. At this point in time, you don't need to put more points on the board. You want to keep your people healthy and get this game over with, move the clock, and get it over with.
So Grant deploys with double wideouts to the left, single here at the bottom, turn and give. There's the run game.
Yeah. I'm watching Satoa block, and you know what? His blocking has become unnoticed. They've got to stop all that stuff going on there after the play. And once again, we're too close to the ending of the football game for people to get disqualified, and they're taking number 8 out and taking a breather.
Well, Kinsey, after limping off earlier, was back in the ball game and took that handoff. Nice run. Though the scoreboard has yet to change, it's going to bring up a 2nd and short.
Sit out the next game if you're ejected. Automatic sit out.
Kinsey showing some speed and power.
Tackle him.
Christian Kinsey.
Wow. I'm impressed with his athletic ability.
Christian Kinsey, the ball carrier.
I think he's looking, and Mike is taking notice, believe me. He's known, he's listed as a wide receiver, defensive back, but I like the way he gets up north-south, Will.
Well, he's still moving the pieces around. I'm quite sure that he's not satisfied with what he's seen in the 2 games. Yep. And they have not had that typical great run game, and he's discovered Williams and Kinsey here now. And Satoa gets the carry.
Vianney Sotoa, the ball carrier.
Well known again for his blocking, but I like the way he runs, and I tell you, he's played some vicious blocks. He put some of the linebackers on skates tonight, leading on that ISO play with those tailbacks Pryor and Williams running behind Sotoa.
No doubt about it. Lots to work with there for Mike Albergini's Pacers as they come up to the line with 20 seconds left. Be interesting to see what they run here. Wesley Jones back at quarterback. And a kneel down will wrap this. And this one is official as Grant High, for the first time ever, squares off against the Capital Christian Cougars. And tonight with somewhat of a patchwork lineup. They rally in the second half and register an interesting 19-0 victory over Capital Christian in Casey Taylor's coaching debut for the Cougars. You can see the sportsmanship out there on the middle of the field after some very tense square-offs and short-fused tempers flaring during the contest, but they're all buddies afterward. So that's the way it wraps up. We invite you to stick around. We'll be moving on to our post-game segment and have lots of goodies inserted there, including our players of the game that Rick Stewart will be visiting with. So don't wander off. Lots more to come here on Access Sacramento's Hometown Sports Game of the Week.
And we appreciate it if you look around, fans, spectators, any cups, plates, anything around.
I'll never forget the day our landlord called
I
and
heard
said,
you. I don't know if Will picked it up.
No pets allowed. My owner tells him my dog ate the lease, but that didn't work. And now I'm stuck in a shelter. But this pit bull is ready for a new crib. I'm loving, loyal, and play well with others. So don't be intimidated by all my muscles, because the biggest one I have is my heart. That's right, I said it.
Well, the verdict is in and the decision is final this evening here at Capital Christian High School, where tonight on Access Sacramento's Hometown Sports Game of the Week, the visiting Grant High Pacers came off of a scoreless first half and powered to a 19-0 victory in the coaching debut of Casey Taylor here at Capital Christian High School, and another extension of Mike Albergini's marvelous career guiding the Grant High Pacers. Coach Jim Domino, we saw lots of interesting things, and we can
Second
easily
and
project.
6, 4 wide receivers, 3 to the right.
And as we see there, Christian Simmons, unfortunately badly injured last week in the Modesto Christian game, fractured leg. He's lost for the season, but Casey Taylor has a way of rallying his troops and getting them back on track, and I'm quite certain even coming off this defeat with a battered lineup, he'll find a way to get them back in the groove.
Well, he's proved that many times before at Del Oro through the years and prior to that at Oak Ridge, and he'll do it again. He's got to get his club into sync and find the pieces that'll fit properly, and he'll do that. He's got a great staff. He's got particularly a great experience. We'll go into the players of the game. Go ahead, Will.
Deshaun Pryor from Grant High and Trey Jones of Capital Christian are tonight's players of the game, and we'll bounce it down to field level for Rick Stewart. He is standing by with those players. Rick?
Alrighty, here with our players of the game. First and foremost for Capital Christian, Trey Jones. Trey, you had a 42-yard run early in the game, and that looked like it was going to break through the ice. What stopped that drive?
Momentum. I was going, and I kept looking back, and the guy just started cutting up, and my intention was to get out of bounds, but he's a pretty fast guy, and he caught up to me.
What was the key that they were doing that stopped your offense tonight?
They were sending the linebacker. They was blitzing almost every play. Our linemen couldn't do nothing about it. We didn't have enough guys. They were sending like 7 to the box every time, collapsing the outsides, and we couldn't do nothing about it.
First half, late in the first half, this guy had a couple touchdowns over here. Now, did that take the air out of the offense or the defense at that point? Probably more the defense.
Not necessarily, but he's a really good running back, and we couldn't contain him. Grant's a really good team, so. Yeah.
Well, congratulations on being our player of the game. You got a 2-1 start. That's still a good start going.
Thank you.
All right.
Appreciate it.
All right. Thanks, Trey. All righty. Deshaun Pryor. First two touchdowns of the game late in the first half. What kind of momentum change did that give you?
That gave us great momentum. It just helped us keep going, just working harder.
A lot of people say that, you know, the offensive line or the running backs and this and that, Grant isn't as strong. Didn't look like that to me. It was a good, solid game tonight against a tough opponent.
Yep, our line making blocks, line. I like to thank my line, you feel me? But, yeah, we were just out there making plays, man. They was blocking hard for me.
Every running back from Grant we've ever talked to always says, I got to thank my line. So you're right there with them. What was the key for you tonight on offense?
Just run hard, run aggressive. That's about it.
Did you think early in the season, losing the opener, was that kind of a funny feeling for Grant? First time in 10 years, only second time in 25.
Yeah, but it's going to make us work harder.
This guy set up the practice the next day, real solid, I bet.
Yeah.
All right, well, congratulations, Deshaun, on being our player of the game. Good job tonight. Best of luck the rest of the year.
Thank you.
All right, Deshaun. All right, Coach. You know, it was a good game. Took a little while to get the momentum you probably wanted.
Well, I mean, we're still a work in progress. I mean, you know, we're working with our third and fourth quarterback, and, you know, I mean, the young man that stepped in tonight did a good job. We have a solid line, and we have solid defense, and the running backs, we're always going to have running backs at Grant. I mean, you know, one might not be as great as another, but they're effective, and, you know, tonight we had enough to get through and do it. We'll get better as we go. We'll throw the ball a little better as the season goes on.
Now, when your quarterback clears and is ready to go, is it a big change going to him versus the players you've had out there?
No, I mean, the big thing is for us is just getting reps, you know, where you know who does what you can look for. You know, I mean, we switched around our coaching. I went to the defense, and Carl Reed, who was the defense, came to the offense. They've always wanted to do it, and you know, so I mean, I've always wanted to be a defensive man, and so it was just a time to make it this year. So we're still getting together, but I mean, they're doing a terrific job, and again, our defense played spectacular, and our offensive and defensive line play was very good.
Well, anytime you get a shutout, especially against a team that's hungry, like Capital Christian is, coming in with Casey Taylor behind them, you know they're going to be ready. You played a solid game, even though there were a lot of penalties.
Yeah, you know, I mean, there was way too many penalties, and you know, I think there was emotion on both sides. You know, I mean, we took a little offense to that. A little school is going to come up and make their name against us. So, I mean, we were a little bit feisty about that. But, I mean, you know, it was two good teams, and the game, except for penalties, was a well-played game.
Well, congratulations on the victory tonight. Going forward, good luck in the rest of the season, Coach.
Thank you very much. We appreciate it.
All right, Coach. Good job tonight. All right, guys, we'll send it back up to you. 19-0 for the final. Good game. Whitewash on one side, but it's still a good, close game. Guys, I know you'll take it away.
Oh, thank you very much, Rick. I'm quite certain that despite what Coach Albergini said, you know, he explained he's not satisfied with this, but he feels that they'll get better as the season progresses, and certainly the same thing for Casey Taylor's outfit. I mean, he had a battered lineup with numerous key injuries, and it's just tough to perform at a winning level.
Well, certainly, when Xavier Johnson came in the ball game, there was a world of difference in that Grant offense. No question about it. He sparked them. Believe me, he gave them a little spark that they needed.
Well, I do believe that our executive statistician once again has set the table for us beautifully with final statistics in tonight's ball game, and they do tell the story. Oftentimes, stats, as you say, Imperator, can be misleading. However, in tonight's contest, I think they do a good job of telling the story and reflective of.
Well, certainly, when you look at this, the stats do tell the story tonight. 19-0, Grant scoring 12 in the first half, 7 only in the second half, and you see those 4 zeros. Okay, 266 on the ground, 77 in the air, 343 total, and 128 for Capital Christian. Decidedly a world of difference, well over 200 yards. First downs, 13-11. Turnovers, 3 on Capital Christian didn't help matters, believe me, 1 for Grant. In the penalty department, none of us like to see this, but it is early season and the flags are flying. Grant got hit with 149, 19 penalties, and of course 7 more for Capital is 23, and we had about 5 or 6 refusals. So when you get close to 30 penalties in a ball game, that's a long time. Time of possession, a 5-minute difference in the favor of Grant. But Grant was decidedly tonight the better team, and with young Xavier Johnson coming in via Cordova, why he sparked the Pacers along with that strong running game, and give credit to that Grant O-line. It made it easy for those running backs to gain yards for Grant.
And in a game like this, I would not be at all surprised if there is a renewal of this matchup. I'm sure coaches Albergini and Casey Taylor would certainly want to oblige with a home-and-home type scenario, and perhaps next year we'll see Grant on the Capital schedule, but playing over in Del Paso Heights at Albergini Field.
I'm sure that Coach Albergini will reciprocate, and they are good friends, and it is good competition. And, of course, the longer Casey stays here, I'll see more and more and more of people come to Capital Christian to play for Casey.
Well, in this era of players relocating, so to speak, there's always the unexpected, Jim, on who might wind up where. And in tonight's matchup between these two teams, they both had the welcome mat out for new quarterbacks. However, only one of them was in action tonight. So Casey Taylor can look forward to the Jake Cruz approval on his transfer, and that would give them a passing game.
Well, hopefully that'll come through. And I wouldn't be surprised if it could come through this next week, or so that he is able to get ready to go for league play. And you see that, and despite a great performance for Jones tonight, and he was deserving, even in losing effort, to get that player of the game because he took a ton of hits and he never gave up.
That's why I think it was necessary to select him. You could call it essential. What a game effort by a non-quarterback. And he took a pounding tonight, and as you say, no quit in him. What a competitor, what a player, and also a heck of a basketball player on the Cougars team.
Well, you saw that last year, and I'm sure if Cruz does get into the lineup, certainly Jones will find a place in the lineup. He's too good of an athlete.
Well, that's the way it winds up tonight. And Access Sacramento's hometown sports game of the week coverage in a week 2 matchup, a first ever matchup, as Grant travels over to Capital Christian. And tonight, with sheer determination, the veteranship, they pound out a 19-0 victory over Capital Christian. Access Sacramento and the hometown sports game of the week broadcast crew wish to extend their deep appreciation to the Capital Christian High School administration, particularly to Athletic Director Suzanne Baker, for their cooperation and assistance with the broadcast arrangements for this television production. The Hometown Sports Game of the Week is a special sports presentation of Access Sacramento in association with Play-by-Play Sports Productions. For the Imperator, Jim Domino and Rick Stewart, and our game director, Ronicia Harris, I'm Will James. We thank you for joining us tonight and look forward to the next occasion when we can cross your path. So long, everyone.